And we welcome you to Yolo High Wheelers baseball here on YouTube Live. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Doug Greenwald. We are at Dobbins Stadium here in Davis, California, getting set for action. It is the visiting Jackalopes of Grand Junction and the hometown High Wheelers of Yolo. And, well, last night it was, for the most part, all Yolo. They trailed a little bit early, but pulled away and ended up winning in a crazy 3-hour and 25-minute affair, 19-8. The High Wheelers using a 7-run third and a 9-run eighth. Obviously, look at that, 16 of the 19 runs came combined in just 2 innings. And Yolo last night, everybody contributing. And we'll talk a little bit about that during the broadcast tonight. One of the real oddities of baseball occurred last night, or just about occurred last night, and I'll tell you about it during the game, something you do not see very often, which is why it is an oddity. So the Grand Junction Jackalopes come in, 1 win, 5 losses. Yolo comes in at 2-2, so game 2 of this scheduled 6-game series on a warm night here for baseball, or a warm late afternoon for baseball here in Davis. Pitching matchup this afternoon for Grand Junction. It's right-hander Jonathan Tyler who gets the ball. This will be his second start of the year. No wins and no losses for Tyler, who is from Santa Clarita, California, just north of L.A. Second year in the Pioneer League for Tyler, who was with Billings last year. Meanwhile, Dawson Lane is the pitcher for Yolo, the starter, left-hander, and he will be making his Yolo debut. Not his pro debut, but his Yolo debut. So Tyler, the righty for Grand Junction, and Lane, the lefty for Yolo. Let's take a look now at the starting lineups. First for the Grand Junction Jackalopes under manager Chris Nabashu. Leading it off and playing in center field, Lavoisier Fisher. Batting second, the designated hitter, Andres Rios. The third place batter is the second baseman, Drew Sackett. Hitting cleanup and in left field is Matt Turner. In the fifth spot, a man who homered last night, and that's the right fielder, Damian Henderson. Conrad Villafuerte, 3 hits last night. He hit 6th, and he's at first base. Batting 7th and playing at third base is Mike Bathauer. In the 8th spot and doing the catching, Austin Shoemaker. And batting 9th and at shortstop, our first look at Jeff Disla. So again, and on the mound again for the Grand Junction Jackalopes is the right-hander Jonathan Tyler. So again for Grand Junction and manager Chris Nabashu, it's Fisher, Rios, and Sackett, Turner, Henderson, Villafuerte, Bathauer, Shoemaker, Disla, and the righty Taylor on the mound. For the Yolo High Wheelers, again under manager Billy Horton, Yolo coming in at 2-2, leading it off and playing in center field is Braylon Skinner batting second, and at shortstop, Braylon Marine. The catcher batting third is Mason Minzy. Hitting cleanup and at first base, Sam Kuczynski, not Muchinski. Sam Kuczynski, he bats in the cleanup spot, and he plays at first base. Tanner Smith is the designated hitter, and he is slotted fifth. The left fielder hitting sixth is Jose Gonzalez. Bobby Leday plays at second base, and he is batting seventh. Hitting eighth and at third base, Kirkland Banks. And batting ninth and playing right field is Kyle Guerra. On the mound for Yolo, making his debut as a high wheeler, and that's the left-hander, Dawson Lane. Again for Yolo and manager Billy Horton, it's Skinner, Marine, and Minzy, Kuczynski, Smith, Gonzalez, Leday, Banks, Guerra, and the lefty Lane on the mound. Now we'll pause for the playing of the national anthem. All right, the starting lineup here this afternoon for the contest between Grand Junction and Yolo. Again, the rest of this week, well, I say the rest of this week, meaning obviously today, Wednesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all will have a starting time of 4:30, and then we go at 1:05 on Sunday. We got some promotions for you this weekend coming up on Friday. Again, a 4:30 start here. It's Finals Friday. We will give out official Scantron sheets and an in-game blue book for the old essay blue book. Prizes to get you ready for Finals week. Saturday, 4:30 start, Greek Life Saturday. So come rush with the Yolo High Wheelers and represent your chapter. Most passionate fan wins a team-signed Fan of the Night bat. And then we have Signature Sunday. Now, Sunday is a 1:05 first pitch right here against Grand Junction. And you can hear all the games this week on YouTube Live. So we appreciate you tuning in based here this afternoon on YouTube Live. We'll, again, have YouTube Live this week. We'll have YouTube Live next week as well when we play in Oakland. The umpires for today's game, calling balls and strikes, is Dean Poteet. The umpire at first base is Garrett Wells. And the umpire around at third is the crew chief, Eric Martinez. So we are set to go here this afternoon. Glad you can join us. Doug Greenwald with you again on YouTube Live. And we'll see if the High Wheelers can put up 19 runs again and 21 hits like they did last night. So Lavoisier Fisher to lead it off, and Dawson Lane out of the windup in today's first pitch, low ball one. 1 ball and no strikes, and we're underway at 4:32 on this Wednesday afternoon. 89 degrees. First pitch from Dobbins Stadium. The 1-0 to Fisher, and a big swing and a miss, and that is strike one, and the count is a 1 ball and 1 strike. The game's first batter, Lavoisier Fisher, who homered to open the game yesterday. Outfield medium depth straight away, and Lane delivers. And that's low and in, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to count from Dawson Lane, who is 24 years old, 6'5", 210 pounds, from Lakeland, Florida. Still lives there, center of Florida. The 2-1 is high, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Lane, 4 and a 2-seam fastball, a curveball, and a changeup for Lane, who I mentioned earlier is new to the high. Well, I guess everybody's new to the High Wheelers. The 3-1 pitch, and that's low and in, ball 4 to Fisher. So he opened yesterday's game rounding the bases. He opens tonight's game by jotting down to first base, and now that'll bring up the designated hitter and Andres Rios. But Lane, again, 3rd pro year. But first appearance with Yolo. In fact, I talked to Dawson Lane before the game tonight. Yeah, I know, folks, it's bad. I say bad. You shouldn't talk to the pitcher on the night he starts. But, well, we were both down to the bullpen area, and passed me by and said hello, or passed by me to say hello. So I figured I'd start a conversation with him. Here's Rios, and he takes low and in, ball 1. And the count is at 1 ball and no strikes to Rios, who takes low for a ball. And the count's now 2 balls and no strikes. So Dawson Lane telling me that it's the first time that, meaning since he came out here to Davis, it's the first time that he's ever been anywhere on the West Coast. Now turn to the first, and Fisher caught leaning the wrong way. The first baseman Kaczynski runs Fisher towards second, and he is tagged out easily by the shortstop Marine. And so much for that leadoff walk. 1-3-6 on the pickoff caught stealing. And just like that, Lavoisier Fisher is out. So, 1 out. So that's the first out of the game. Comes on a pickoff caught stealing. Meanwhile, the count is at 2 balls and no strikes to Andres Rios. And he swings here and grounds this ball to third. It's snagged by Kirkland Banks. Throws across to Kaczynski at first. And Rios is out. So quickly 2 up and 2 down here in the top half of the first inning. No score. Yolo and Grand Junction. So Rios, who coming into today at brief sample size, of course, this year, 250 with no homers and 4 runs batted in. So he is retired. And now it's Drew Sackett who will come up to face Dawson Lane. As Lane delivers a breaking ball, low ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Through 7 games for Sackett, he has 2 homers and 2 RBIs to go along with a .250 average. Outfield medium depth straightaway. Lane kicks and deals. And that is low ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. But anyway, Lane's saying, yeah, it's the first time he'd ever been to California. Again, grew up in Lakeland, Florida, right in the heart of Polk County. The kick on the 2-0. And that's low ball 3. 3 balls with no strikes. Lane, first year in the Pioneer League, but spent last year in the Frontier League with the New York Boulders, a team that plays about 45 minutes north of New York City, up in Rockland County. The kick on the 3-0. And that's the get me over strike on the inner half, strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike. He was 6-4 with the Boulders last year, with a 5.07 ERA in 23 games. 10 as a starter, the 3-1. And that's fouled to the screen, strike 2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no score top of the first. Yolo and Grand Junction. And then 2022, Lane's first pro season was in the United Shore Baseball League, a 4-team league that plays all its games in Utica, Michigan, all in the same stadium. Swinging a foul to the screen, and the count holds at 3-2. Played for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. So as I said, it's a 4-team league back there. Now it's pro ball. It's not an MLB partner league. It's not like the Frontier League or this league, the Pioneer League. The kick in the 3-2. Just off the plate, ball 4, so Sackett will go down to first. Second walk issued by Lane, but remember, Fisher was erased on the pickoff caught stealing. And now Matt Turner will come up, extending the inning. Turner hits a .290, no homers, and he has 7 runs batted in. So Sackett, he is the runner at first base, 2 steals. He has not been caught. So now the big right-handed batter, and Turner comes up. Turner 6'5", 225 pounds, and he takes a strike on the outside corner from Dawson Lane. No balls and 1 strike. These two might have faced each other last year. Turner was with that traveling team in the Frontier League, the Empire State Grays. Turn, throw to first. Kaczynski there to take it, and back safely with a dive is Sackett. So no balls and 1 strike to count to Turner, who last night 2 for 5, a 2-run single in the 3rd inning. Sidestep offering from the set, and Turner swings and he pops this one up as the catcher Minzy pushes Dean Poteet, the home plate umpire, down in a not in a malicious way. And I hope now appropriate that Dean went right down. I mean the catcher Minzy obviously went back to try and catch the pop-up, and Dean. I mean, obviously, Minzy had no intent as Dean Poteet puts his right hand on the back of Minzy's back, saying, "Hey, it's okay." Now, if anybody can take that blow, that's Dean Poteet. So I happened to meet Dean Poteet before the game tonight, and he told me he played linebacker at LSU back in the late 1970s. So Dean is used to taking hits like that, or at least giving hits maybe the other way. But Dean went down and. But got right back up. 0-2 on the way. And that's a late swing of a strike 3. And Turner is out. We'll have more Dean Poteet stories when we get back. First strikeout for Lane as a high wheeler. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a runner left after half an inning on this Wednesday from Davis. Grand Junction, nothing. Yolo coming up. Pick up some crowd ambiance here on YouTube Live. On the mound this afternoon for the Grand Junction Jackalopes is the right-hander Jonathan Tyler. As we go to the bottom of the first inning, no score. Again, we'll be with you on YouTube Live. We'll start the feed roughly at 4:15 the next 3 days, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then again a 1:05 start here on Sunday before the team hits the road for the first time. Saw that Oakland, where the High Wheelers will be playing starting on Tuesday night. Saw that the Ballers have already sold out for Tuesday night. I've heard that they've already sold 4,000 seats for that one, so it'll be fun to be there for a historic night at Raimondi Park. So when we go to the bottom of the first inning, it is no score, and Braylon Skinner to lead it off. It'll be Braylon Skinner, then Braylon Marine, and then Mason Minzy to face Jonathan Tyler, who's 26 years old. And the tall right-hander out of the lineup, and the first pitch to Skinner is low ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. How tall is he? Tyler, 6'5", 240 pounds, was with Billings last season, so certainly familiar to Yolo manager Billy Horton, who was the skipper last year. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Skinner, and that is low ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Yolo's first batter, and Skinner, who had 2 hits in that 9-run 8th inning last night, in which the High Wheelers sent 14 to the plate. The kick of the 2-0, and that's grounded back at first. It's gloved by Villafuerte. Now has to hustle quickly to the bag to get the speedy Skinner. And Skinner is out, 1 down here on the bottom half of the first inning. Skinner coming into tonight's game through 4 games, sitting at .533. 8 for his first 19. So that is the first out. And now it's Braylon Marine. 4 hits, all singles, 4 runs scored last night. And he flies this one into shallow right field, and that is going to get down in front of Damian Henderson, a base hit. And now Marine caught between first and second, and the throw to second, and he is going to be out. So much for that. Marine give him a single to right. That's the good news. The bad news is he took a big turnaround first, saw that ball drop, and then was caught in no man's land. And the right fielder, Damian Henderson, just after that had an easy target and threw to the shortstop in Disla. And it was Jeff Disla who made the tag on Marine. So single to right, 9-6 on the putout. So 2 out. And nobody on, no score. Now Mason Minzy will come to the plate. And the pitch from Tyler, and Minzy swings, and he drives this one toward right. Back is Henderson, and he'll get there with plenty of room to make the catch. So, as it turns out, a pretty quick bottom half of the first inning. 1 hit, no one left after 1 from Davis. It is no score, Grand Junction and Yolo here on YouTube Live. We head on to the top half of the second inning. No score. Grand Junction and Yolo. Doug Greenwald with you here at Dobbins Stadium. Ballpark that was built here on the UC Davis campus back in 1986. 3,500 for its capacity. So Damian Henderson to lead it off. Henderson had an eventful bottom of the first inning. He had to hustle in, play a ball and a hop, and still got an assist on the play when Marine was thrown out, being hung up between first and second. And then Henderson had to go back and make a fly ball catch. Now he leads off the second, takes outside ball one from Dawson Lane. 1 ball, no strikes. Nothing, top of the second. Lane delivers, and that's down the middle for a strike, and the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike to Henderson, who homered last night. It was his first homer of the year. Bats at an even 200 in the early season, 5 for his first 30. Swing, ground ball through the hole between first and second, and that's going to get through into right field, a base hit. So back-to-back innings in which the Jackalopes have had the leadoff man reach. That's the first hit for the Grand Junction Jackalopes, 0-0, and now Conrad Villafuerte will come up. Villafuerte, 308, 4 hits in his first 13 at-bats. No home runs, and he has 1 run batted in. Facing Dawson Lane. Mentioned I spoke with Lane before the game this afternoon. Works out of the sidestep delivery from the set, and he misses outside ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, and one of the things I talked about with Lane was where he went to college, one of his colleges, the last place he went to school, and that's Florida Southern College in Lakeland, his hometown. The 1-0 pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike, nothing, top of the second. Yolo and Grand Junction. Now Henderson leads at first, and the pitch, and that is high ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. So the small world of baseball, Dawson Lane's head coach in college was Lance Necro. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lead at first by Henderson, and the pitch, late swing and a miss by Villafuerte, strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and well, Lance Necro, certainly those familiar with the San Francisco Giants remember Lance from his time as a Giant first baseman from around 2003 through 2007, that era. The kick on the 2-2, and that's low ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lance Necro, and I go back many years, early years that I broadcast games for the Fresno Grizzlies. Lance played baseball, played on his way up to the big leagues, came up through AAA Fresno in the Giant system, and who was one of Lance's teammates with Fresno, and then later in the big leagues with the Giants. You got it. Yolo pitching coach Jerome Williams. So Dawson Lane has played for Lance Necro, and then he's played under the tutelage on the coaching side of Jerome Williams. The kick on the 3-2 to Villafuerte. Chopped towards second. Lede to his left, place the high hop. Goes to the shortstop Marine at second for 1. On to the first baseman Kaczynski. Not in time. So 4-6 on the force at second. And that's out number 1 here in the top of inning number 2. No score. Yolo in Grand Junction. And now Michael Bathauer will come up. But anyway, kind of crazy how baseball works. And Lance Necro coming up through the Giants chain. He certainly knows Gary Davenport, who was coach at all levels in the Giants system. Now it's Bathauer, and he takes low ball 1-0. Billy Horton, who managed and coached in the Giants system. So the 3 field staff for the High Wheelers all know Lane's college coach quite well. Bathauer waits, and the pitch swung on, and that's driven toward left center field. And that's going to get down a base hit to his right. The center fielder Skinner quickly to it. Gets the ball in toward the shortstop Marine. So Bathauer has a single. Villafuerte up to second. No score. Top of the second. And that'll bring up the catcher in Austin Schumacher. That's crazy how baseball works. Last night, of the 18 starting position players between the two teams, 17 of them had a hit. The only one who didn't was Bathauer. So what does Bathauer do today? Make sure he gets a base hit. So now it's our first look at Austin Shoemaker, who has had just 1 plate appearance this year, and he takes outside ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. But getting back to Lance Necro, the head coach at Florida Southern College, again, where he coach Dawson Lane. I texted with Lance this morning and share with you what Lance shared with me. 1 ball, no strikes. And the pitch, and that's taken for a strike on the inside corner. And the count is a 1-1. Lance Niekro talking about coaching Dawson Lane. He said Dawson's a competitor. Didn't pitch at first for us. Didn't pitch much at first for us, but worked hard and got better. And once we got him in a game, there was no looking back. The 1-1 pitch inside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike, and then Niekro went on to say that Lane became the Mocs, short for moccasins, at Florida Southern College. That said that Lane became our best starter, and glad that Dawson's getting a chance professionally. 2-1 here to Shoemaker is low ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. But Lance Niekro, as in, yes, the famous Niekro knuckleball family. Lance, the son of former Astro pitcher Joe Niekro. The kick on the 3-1. And that's a strike on the inside corner, 3-2. And then, of course, Lance's uncle, a Hall of Fame knuckleball hurler who pitched predominantly with the Braves, Phil Niekro. Dawson Lane, however, does not throw a knuckleball, at least not that I know of. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at first and second in the payoff, and that swung on and popped up foul left side. And the count's now at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Shoemaker, who's out of the Phoenix area, from Chandler. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. The kick and again the payoff. And Shoemaker check swing, foul toward the back of the plate. The count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Shoemaker did not play last night. Second year at Grand Junction for Shoemaker. Last year the Jackalopes hit .367 with no homers and 5 runs batted in. 3-2 the count. And now Lane steps off the rubber. Shoemaker, that United Shore Baseball League I was talking about, where Lane began his pro career, Shoemaker played for just about every team that was in that 4-team league, including that West Side team. However, he was not there at the time that Lane was. Again, the 3-2. Swing and a foul at the plate. So Shoemaker 3 straight foul balls. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Shoemaker's also spent predominantly his college days with the Ottawa, Arizona Spirit School that's in Surprise, Arizona, on the western part of the Phoenix area. 3 ball, 2 strike pitch again. Swung on, and that's laced high down the right field line toward the corner, and this ball is just foul. I mean, just a pinch to the right of the foul pole. So 4 straight foul balls now by Shoemaker. And the count holds at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the game nothing, top of the second inning. Yolo and Grand Junction. And this is the only trip Grand Junction will make to Yolo this year. Yolo will come back and play at Grand Junction in August. 3 balls and 2 strikes with Jeff Disla on deck. Runners with their leads, and again the 3-2, and that's low ball 4. So nice plate appearance there. That was the 5th full count pitch, made Lane work, and eventually Lane loses him. So Villafuerte moves to third, Bathauer up to second, Shoemaker to first. 3rd walk issued by Dawson Lane. Of course, it was supposed to have started last Wednesday, but we had all the postponements because of light issues. So again, I talked about this last night, that it was just easier to keep everybody on their particular starting day instead of pushing or juggling things. So that's why Lane's not going until now. Here's Disla, who drives one foul down the left field line, strike 1. No balls and a strike to the 28-year-old. Now, this guy's a senior citizen in this league, and Jeff Disla did not play last night. Runners lead at every base. Nothing, top of the second, and Disla takes high ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Disla's been in 6 games, 2 hits in his first 12 at-bats. He has struck out 10 times. He struck out 10 of his first 13 overall plate appearances for Disla. The kick on the 1-1, and he swings and misses at a fastball, strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Disla at least did not play anywhere that we know of in the United States the last several years. Last played in the Pecos League with the San Rafael Pacifics in 2021. Runners everywhere in the 1-2, and he swings and he pops this one up. Shallow center, probably not deep enough to get a run in. Skinner to make the catch, and no advance by anybody. As Skinner gets the ball into the cutoff man, the first baseman, Kaczynski. So Disla cooperates with a shallow fly ball to center. That's 2 out. That keeps the bases loaded. It keeps it 0-0. And now for the second time in as many innings, Grand Junction will go to the top of its order for the center fielder, Lavoisier Fisher. He walked to open the game and then was picked off / caught stealing 1-3-6 right after that. And the pitch on the way to Fisher, and that's high ball 1-0. Outfield, medium depth straight away. Infield back with 2 out. No runs hit, no errors for the High Wheelers. No runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Jackalopes. With Rios waiting on deck. The 1-0 pitch and a curve, swing and a miss, strike 1. And the count's now at 1-1 to Lavoisier Fisher, capital Lavoisier. The 1-1 here, and that's fouled to the backstop, strike 2. 1-2 strikes the count to Fisher, who grew up in the Atlanta area, grew up in Suwanee, Georgia. Second pro year for him was with Grand Junction last year, 26 games, hit .328. 1-2 strikes, and the pitch fouled at the plate. And the count remains at 1-2 to Fisher, who played a couple of seasons of baseball at Division II Albany State in Georgia. Members of the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Played for the Golden Rams of Albany State. The 1-2 pitch swung on, and that's driven high in the air into right field. Cinsgara going back to his right, and the right fielder will be there to make the catch. So Fisher just got underneath that one, flies to right, and Dawson Lane gets out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and Grand Junction leaves the bases loaded. Inning and a half gone by from Yolo County. 0-0, Yolo and Grand Junction here on YouTube Live. We go to the bottom half of the second inning, 0-0. Again, tomorrow, it'll be Game 3 of this scheduled 6-game series. We'll have it for you at about 4:15. Pitching matchup tomorrow for the Grand Junction Jackalopes. It'll be Frank Rasiopo against Yolo right-hander Brandon McPherson. Sam Kaczynski leads it off for the High Wheelers. Then it's Smith and Gonzalez, middle third of the order, to face the right-hander Jonathan Tyler, who winds and the pitch to Kaczynski, and that's inside ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, just like everybody else last night, Kaczynski, a productive evening for the High Wheelers. He had 3 hits, scored twice, and reached base safely 5 times. 2 singles, a double, a couple of walks. Also had an RBI. The windup in the 1-0 pitch, and Kaczynski takes one all the way up and in and to the screen. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Kaczynski, who's hit safely in the first 4 Yolo games this year. 8 for 14, a .571 clip in the early going for the Atlanta area product. And Kaczynski, the kick in the 2-0, and that's low outside, ball 3. And the count's now at 3 balls and no strikes. The game no score, bottom of the second inning. Yolo and Grand Junction. Kaczynski and getting a start at first base tonight. We've seen him either there or as the DH so far. The kick on the 3-0. And that's low and in, ball 4. So Kaczynski, a leadoff walk. And now that'll bring up Tanner Smith with the game 0-0 in the bottom half of the second inning. And I'm sure it must have felt good for Smith. Mentioned last night, 17 of the 18 offensive starting players for each side had at least a hit, and then Tanner Smith was the last to join that party as he takes low and in, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Smith picked up that hit in the 8th inning, part of that 9-run 8th with an RBI single. Did reach base safely overall 4 times. He singled, walked 3 times. That was also his first hit of the year. He had been 0 for 15 to start the campaign. 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch, Tyler delivers from the set, breaking ball, and that hits the outer half of the plate, strike 1. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike to Smith. So Smith, 0.71 average, but as I said, he's been able to get on base quite a bit, meaning in a safe manner with the walks or other contributions he's made when he's been on base, able to obviously score runs or just play a role, positive role somehow, despite his struggles offensively. So 2 balls and 1 strike to count. And the pitch to Smith, and that's ripped down the right field side and foul. And the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. To the count to Smith. Mentioning at the beginning of the broadcast that last night the High Wheelers came within 1 RBI of what would have been one of the real oddities of the game. The kick on the 2-2 and a breaking ball, and that's up and away, ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. No score here, bottom of the second. So you know how you read a baseball box score and it says, the 4 columns: at bat, run, hit, RBI. Last night, Yolo, of those 36 possible columns, filled up 35 of them. The kick on the 3-2 to Smith, loses his bat. Bat goes flying over toward the first base Yolo dugout. The ball goes flying foul, third base side. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So in other words, everybody had at least a hit, so the hit column was all filled. Of course, if everybody has a hit, you have at least an official at bat for everybody. That's usually the given. You're going to have official at bats generally speaking, no matter what. Everybody scored at least a run. So although the column was filled, the R column, 3-2, and that's low inside, ball 4. So back-to-back walks issued by Tyler to get the bottom of the second cooking. 0-0. Yolo and Grand Junction. And now Jose Gonzalez will come up. So 8 of the 9 High Wheelers had at least an RBI. So 8 of those 9 RBI, the column, that was filled. So the only 0 in the Yolo box score last night was that Josh Kirby, the new right fielder for the High Wheelers, playing in his first pro game an evening ago. Despite Kirby getting on base twice with a couple of singles and a stolen base and a run scored, he did not have an RBI. It was the only 0 in that box score. That's pretty impressive. Now it's Gonzalez who takes low ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. So Gonzalez last night filled up the box score with a 3-for-5 effort. He scored 2 runs. He had 1 RBI. 1 ball, no strikes to Jose. Runners at first and second. Nothing, bottom of the second. Tyler delivers, and Gonzalez takes a breaking ball for a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez actually had 2 hits last night and 3 RBIs. I was actually reading somebody else's line. But Gonzalez contributed with 2 walks, 2 runs scored, 2 hits, 3 runs batted in. So he filled all his columns. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 on, no one out. And a breaking ball outside, ball 2 from Tyler. 2 balls and 1 strike with the game nothing, bottom of the second inning. Yolo and Grand Junction. But that's right. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I mean, think about that. 35 of the 36 columns. The only 0, Josh Kirby unable to. Shame on him not get an RBI. I think all the RBIs were taken by everybody else. But tremendous performance all around. The 2-1 on the way. Outside ball 3. And the count's now at 3 balls and 1 strike to Gonzalez, who gets the start in left field tonight or today. That's his more natural position. The kick in the 3-1, and that's way up and away, ball 4. So that loads the bases with nobody out. 3 straight walks now. So Kaczynski to third, Smith to second, and Gonzalez goes down to first base. And now here is the man who hit his first pro home run last night, which was also the first home run ever in the history of the High Wheelers. And it was a grand slam in that 9-run 8th inning. It's Bobby Leday who bats. So Leday has a chance at a grand slam here. Yeah, Leday didn't do much of anything last night. He only had 4 hits and 6 RBIs. So a chance at a bundle here, and he takes a strike on the inside corner on 1. Leday had a 2-run double in that 7-run third, then a couple of singles, and the grand slam, which was his second at-bat in that 9-run 8th inning. He was the 10th man to come to the plate in that 8th inning. Nothing, in the pitch, and Leday takes a bender up and in, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Leday needed the triple for the cycle, but settled for, again, a 6 RBI night. So Leday now 8 RBIs through his first 4 games, 7 for his first 19, 368, the 1-1, and that hit him. Well, he will get an RBI here, like that got him in his right arm, and that will force home Kaczynski, so it's 1-0 Yolo. So, yeah, they kept Leday in the ballpark. That's not quite what they had in mind, though, so give Leday an RBI, so it's now his 7th RBI of this series. It's already his 9th this year. So Smith goes to third, Gonzalez up to second, Leday hit with a pitch and a run batted in. So 1-0 in favor of the High Wheelers. So they've been hitting this inning, they just haven't accomplished a hit in this inning. And it'll be Kirkland Banks who will come to the plate. Banks 4 for his first 16. Bats at 250. Kirkland last night had 1 hit in 5 at-bats. He was hit with a pitch with the bases loaded in that 9-run 8th inning. As the manager, Chris Nobbenschuh, out to talk to Jonathan Tyler. So now Banks a chance at a bundle with runners at every base. 1-0 now, Yolo. Bottom of the second inning, nobody out. And the pitch on the way, and that's up and away, ball 1 from Tyler. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes to Banks with Kyle Guerra waiting on deck. Middle infield is back. The corner infielder is just back of the lip of the grass. So Smith at third, Gonzalez at second, and Leday at first, and Banks takes low and in, ball 2 from Tyler. And the count's now with 2 balls and no strikes from the right-hander and Jonathan Tyler, who worked 3 innings in his first start. That was last week at home against Boise. Runners everywhere on the 2-0. And that hits the outer half of the plate. Strike one, 2-1. I mentioned Tyler was at Billings last year, only 3 games. Again, Billy Horton, the Yolo manager, was the manager last year with Tyler. I'm sorry, last year, it was Tyler's manager last year with Billings. 2 balls and 1 strike. And the pitch, and that swung on and swatted foul left side. Tyler left that ball up and just Banks waited on it and hit it foul. And the count's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kirkland Banks, with Smith at third, Gonzalez at second, and Leday at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big hole in right center, and the pitch. And Banks swings and misses strike 3. Looked like a slider there. And Banks is out, so that's 1 away. That keeps the bases loaded. And now it's Kyle Guerra who will dig in. So Kyle missed out on all the fun last night, but played in Game 2 of the doubleheader here on Sunday against Rocky Mountain. Guerra in that game was 2 for 3 with an RBI. Well, Guerra still a chance to get a run in without having to get a hit, a fly ball deep enough, maybe a slow roller somewhere, gets a run in. And the pitch to Guerra, and that's in the dirt, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes. Tyler is from the North LA area, was born in Granada Hills, but went to college across the country, spent 3 years playing for Campbell University, which is in Bowies Creek, North Carolina, the Raleigh-Durham region. And the second pro year. In addition to 3 games with Billings last year, also was in the Pioneer League a season ago, briefly with the Glacier Range Riders. 1 ball and no strikes the count with 1 out. 1-0 Yolo, bottom half of the second inning. As Tyler kicks and delivers, and Guerra takes a breaking pitch for a strike on the inside corner. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike. Shade not nearly a factor yet, as we're just past the 5 o'clock hour here in Davis tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. High Wheelers 1, Jackalopes nothing, bottom 2 in the 1-1. And Guerra swings and misses strike 2. Fastball there, and the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tyler, 2 years ago, was in the MLB Draft League with Williamsport. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch, and that's in the dirt, ball 2. And the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. On deck the top of the order, and the center fielder Skinner. 1-0 High Wheelers. Bases loaded, and the pitch to Guerra, and that's way up and away, ball 3. And the count's at 3 balls and 2 strikes from Jonathan Tyler to Kyle Guerra. Well, Tyler has walked 3 in this inning. He's also hit a batter with the bases loaded. The kick and the payoff, and Guerra swings and just taps 1 foul at the plate. Barely stays alive. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Guerra, who had his coaches, it's a high school team or a little league team, but a bunch of those players were here on Sunday to root their coach on, to see him play. Came up from the East Bay. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the payoff. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, Guerra chased what probably was going to be ball 4. The pitch was up and away, and tried to protect there, but comes up empty. So in this inning, there have been 6 batters, and we haven't seen a ball put in play. We've seen 3 walks, hit by pitch, and 2 strikeouts. So it stays now still 1-0 Yolo, and for the second time in as many innings, Yolo will go to the top of its order for the center fielder, Braylon Skinner. Grounded to first base unassisted in the first inning. So runner still at every base. And the pitch, and Skinner swings and drives 1 foul down the right field side, strike 1. And the count's at no balls and 1 strike to Skinner, who was with Williamsport last year. I mentioned that the pitcher Tyler was with Williamsport 2 years ago. Skinner was there last season. So Smith at third, Gonzalez at second, Lede at first. No balls, 1 strike to count. 1-0 Yolo, and the pitch up and away, ball 1 from Tyler. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Billy Horton, he managed there in 2021, so understandable that this is the first step now into MLB Partner League ball, professional baseball after Williamsport. 1 ball, 1 strike to count, and the pitch, and going around to pitch around the shoe tops of Skinner, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Long talk with Skinner before the game yesterday. Played his college baseball, both Mississippi State and also at University of Memphis. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners everywhere. And the pitch, fastball up and away, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Always funny, you talk about, how these conversations progress. And Skinner and I were talking about University of Memphis, and I told him I had been over to that baseball field before. Saw a game, a few innings of a game there a few years ago. The kick on the 2-2. Swinging a pop-up foul left side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1-0 Yolo leads Grand Junction bottom of the second. And, we talk about the new field surface at the University of Memphis. Asked me if I had seen that. I said, well, I was at a game there about 8 years ago. I can't remember what the field turf looked like necessarily. Because, well, it's new in the last couple of years. But talk about that, and we eventually, as most things come around, we then talked about food in Memphis, which is one of the best restaurant cities. The 2-2 on the way, low and in, ball 3, 3-2. So it's generally how it works. You start out talking baseball or things related to the game, and then always circles eventually to the best places to eat in his home area of Memphis. Well, the carousel ready to go right here. Everybody in motion. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bags full. 1-0 Yolo. The runners go, and the pitch swinging a tapper to second base. Gloved by Sackett, and he'll throw to Villafuerte at first. They get Skinner. So out of all of this, 3 walks, a bases loaded hit by pitch, and a few full counts after that. The High Wheelers only come away with 1 run. 1 run on no hits. There were no errors, and the bases remain loaded. We go to the third. 1-0 Yolo out in front over Grand Junction on YouTube Live. Moving along to the top of the third, it is 1-0 Yolo out in front. And Andres Rios leads it off. And the first pitch to Rios is high, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes. Rios, Sackett, and Turner 2-3-4 to face Dawson Lane. So tough go of it for the, I say tough go of it. Yeah, they got a run, but only 1 run. They had a chance to really deliver, I don't want to say an early knockout blow, but certainly deliver some big blows early in that second inning, but could not. The count is at 1 ball and 1 strike to Rios, who grounded to third base his first time. And the kick in the 1-1. And that's strike two called on the inside corner, although they're going to challenge that. Rios didn't think it was a strike. Actually, they appealed, and apparently the pitch was switched to a ball, so call was overturned, so it's a ball. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Lane delivers, and a breaking ball taken for a strike on the outside corner, 2-2. Again, that's one of the new things the Pioneer League has instituted this year, and that is you can challenge balls and strikes. You get up to 6 challenges a game. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lane delivers, and that's swung on, and that's lying towards center, and that's going to get down a base hit, 1 hop in front of Skinner. So Rios, now the 3rd straight inning in which Grand Junction has had its leadoff man reached. Now Lane has been able to work around that each of the first 2 innings. We'll see what happens here. And now it's Drew Sackett who comes up. It's also the 3rd hit now for the Jackalopes. Last night had 12 hits. So now Sackett bats. He walked in the 1st inning. And sidestep offering here to Sackett from Lane, and that's low ball 1. And the count's now 1 ball and no strikes. Well, last night's game, all that offense. I mean, Yolo had 19 runs. Grand Junction had 8 runs. I mean, it's still a good chunk. And Yolo 21 hits. Grand Junction had 12. So combined 27 runs, 33 hits, and 21 runners left on. There's a breaking ball taken for a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. And yet you'd think a game that had that much traffic, all these hits and all these runs and all these runners left on, and a 9-inning game that took 3 hours and 25 minutes, there were no errors in the game. The kick of the 1-1, and that's low ball 2-1. You'd think there'd be a throwing error somewhere. I mean, I'm not saying there had to be a ground ball that went right through the legs of an infielder or a fly ball dropped it. I mean, you'd think that there'd be an errant pickoff throw somewhere. I mean, all these players are on base last night, and no errors. The kick on the 2-1 here from the set, breaking ball, and that hits the inner half. Strike 2 from Lane. And the count's at 2 balls and 2 strikes, but last night around the Pioneer League, I mean, it's sort of par for the course with everything in this league, with all the offense that takes place. I was texting with Chris Moyer, who's based out of Colorado Springs. Chris is one of the statisticians in the league. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch to Sackett, swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball in the outer half, and Sackett chases it and comes up empty. And that's the 2nd strikeout for Dawson Lane. And now it's Matt Turner who will come to the plate. But Moyer, Chris Moyer, who will see in Colorado Springs later in the year, I've known Chris forever, and Chris will sometime. Now that Chris and I are back in the same league, we were in the PCL together for a long time. Now I get the late night text from Chris, swinging a line drive towards center. On comes Skinner, and he makes a diving catch with his black cap flying off. Great play there by the center fielder, and Braylon Skinner. And that ball gets past him. No telling. Rios probably would have scored, and I had to think Turner might have a good chance of at least being at 3rd. Instead, it's the 2nd out. Rios holds at 1st. And now Damian Henderson will come to the plate. But, last night it was a crazy night around the Pioneer League. I mean, I guess that happens a lot in a league like this where you have a lot of young players, and you have, obviously, pitching is not quite refined yet. Guys are still developing. Batters are still very aggressive swinging, and obviously a lot of high altitude places. Swinging a ground ball to first base, that's foul. No balls and 1 strike to count. So, last night, you think of the score we had an evening ago, 19-8, with Yolo winning. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, how about last night? Missoula beat Ogden 22-9. The kick in the 0-1 from the set, and Henderson takes in the dirt. The catcher, Minzy, can't find it. The ball not too far from him, and the pitcher, Lane, had to move all the way over, or had to come all the way off the mound to find the ball. It was just a few feet away onto the grass portion on the foul side near the left-handed batter's box. So Rios moves up to second on the wild pitch. And the count's at 1-1 strike with a 1-0 Yolo lead. Top half of the third inning. Henderson singled to right his first time. Base hit to the outfield could tie it as he swings and fouls one off left side, strike two. 1-2 strikes. So you had the winning teams in the Pioneer League last night score 19 runs, 22 runs, 16, 14, 21, and 11. 1-2 strikes, 2 outs. And the pitch, breaking ball outside, ball 2. 2 strikes. Oakland won at Rocky Mountain last night, 21-15. So Oakland had 21 runs and 22 hits. They outdid Yolo, the 2-2, low and in, ball 3. 3 strikes. I mean, that's we've seen a few of those scores in the early going of this league. This year we saw one over the weekend. There was like a 17-13 game. The kick in the 3-2. Just off the plate, ball 4. So Henderson on base for the second time. 1-0 in favor of Yolo. Doug Greenwald with you here on YouTube Live. Now 2 on and 2 out. There is Conrad Villafuerte. But yeah, Chris Moyer, when he texted me, he said, yeah, just another night around the Pioneer League. So now it's Villafuerte who takes outside ball 1. 1 and no strikes the count. I said to him, well, sort of the Coors Field of leagues. And then he sent me the Rockies score, and Cleveland won at Coors Field last night 13-7. So obviously a lot more refined up at that level than here, but still a rather big score, which of course is typical there. The 1-0 pitch inside, ball 2. 2 and no strikes the count. So the winning teams last night in the Pioneer League, get this, scored an average of 17 runs. The average score last night in the Pioneer League was 17-7. The 2-0 pitch, and that's a strike on the outside corner. Well, the count's of 2-1 strike. I mentioned that, you get into the higher altitude places like, I know there were no games last night in Grand Junction, but areas like that, or certainly up in Montana where you're going to have some elevation. 2-1. Dawson Lane delivers, and that's swung on a miss, pitch down and in, strike 2. And the count's of 2 strikes with a 1-0 advantage for the High Wheelers, top of the third inning. And then there are places like here in Davis, or when we go over to Oakland, where there's not really any elevation. So 2-2 the count. So Villafuerte reached on a force in the second inning. Rios at second, Henderson at first. Big hole in right center. And the 2 strike pitch, swing and a dry foul first base side. And the count's of 2 strikes. But yeah, I mean, here the High Wheelers put up 19 runs last night, and that was the third highest amount in the league. 2 strikes to count with 2 out. From the slender Dawson Lane, 6'5", 210 pounds. The kick on the 2-2 swung on, and that is chopped back of first, and that is foul. And the count remains at 2 strikes to Villafuerte, who played his college baseball at Colorado Mesa in Grand Junction. It's in the Grand Junction ballpark right now in use. College World, or the Junior College World Series is being used there this week. That's where the JUCO World Series normally is. And the Western Slope, as they call it, out in Rocky Mountain territory. 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. 1-0 High Wheelers, and the pitch swung on, and that's line toward first. Night on the 1-hop by Kuczynski. Gets it to Lane, who doesn't get to the base in time. Now, in fairness to Lane, he hustled over there. Wasn't like he didn't hustle to get there. Just the batter runner via Fuerte beat the throw. Good play at first by Kuczynski. That ball was hard hit. Easily could have got past him to score a run. So he made a good play to keep the ball in the infield. Lane got over there and close play at first, but the overhand toss from the first baseman, Kuczynski, was not in time. So Rios goes to third. Henderson up to second. Via Fuerte has an infield single. And now it's Mike Bathauer who bats, so the bag's full and 2 out. 1-0 Yolo, top 3. And Bathauer, a home run cut and a foul to plate, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Bathauer. But yeah, that goes as a base hit. That's the 4th hit now for the Jackalopes. Bathauer coming in at 120. Played his college baseball in Colorado at Adams State, the 0-1. And that's a strike on the inside corner, strike 2. And the count's at no balls and 2 strikes to Bathauer. Played 5 years at Adams State. This is his first pro year after playing for the Adams State Grizzlies. No balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, and Bathauer swings and misses strike 3. High fastball up and away, and he is out. So Lane gets out of it. 3rd strikeout for him. No runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, and the bases remain loaded. 2nd straight inning that the Jackalopes have left the bags full. In fact, the last 3 half innings, the teams have left the bases loaded. After 2.5, it stays 1-0 Yolo over Grand Junction on YouTube Live. On we go now to the bottom half of inning number 3. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors for Yolo. No runs, 4 hits, and no errors for Grand Junction. So, mentioned that both teams have had a chance to really come through, and only 1 run so far. So, through 3 innings, Grand Junction has stranded 7. And then last inning, Yolo stranded 3. So the teams through just 2.5 innings have left 10 on. Braylon Marine leads it off. Then it's Minzy and Kuczynski, 2-3-4 to face Jonathan Tyler. 1-0 is the score. Yolo out in front as Tyler winds and the pitch. And that's outside ball 1 to Marine. 1 ball, no strikes. Marine hit a fly ball that just fell in front of the right fielder Henderson in the first inning. That was the good news. The bad news is Marine took a big turnaround first. Henderson eventually came up with the ball, and then Marine was caught between first and second and eventually was thrown out trying to get to second base as he takes outside ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. I think the catcher and Shoemaker appealed, and apparently that's pitch has been overturned to a strike, so the count is at 1 ball and 1 strike to Marine. So he was put out 9-6 after singling in the first inning. The windup in the 1-1. And a big swing and a foul ball right side. Strike to Marine. And the count's at 1-2 strikes. With Mason Minzy waiting on deck. 1-2 the count. Big hole out of the right center. The windup in the 1-2. And that's poked toward right field. But this will hold up for Henderson, moving to his right on the shallow fly ball, and he makes the catch. And that is out number 1 here in the top half of inning number, the bottom half of inning number 3. And now Mason Minzy will come up for the second time. Minzy, he fly to right field in the first inning. Now, Minzy did not play last night. Had 3 hits in the season opener back on May 20. I say back on May. It sounds like so long ago. Last week on May 21st. Mason takes inside ball 1. 1-0 strikes the count to Minzy, who played 3 seasons of baseball at Ohio University in the Mid-American Conference. 1-0 strikes. 1-0 Yolo, bottom 3, and Minzy swings here, and he pops this one up out in the sun in shallow left. Turner shades on, and the left fielder Matt Turner, he makes the catch. 2 out. Bottom of the third inning, it is 1-0 Yolo. And now Sam Kuczynski will dig in. They have 3 players on this team. I was talking to Justin Kirby, who made his pro debut last night. Kirby played 4 years at Kent State in Ohio, and Kirby was saying, yeah, it's interesting you come out here. You got 3 players who played in the MAC, as they call it back there, Maction. So you had like three Maction guys here on this Yolo club. First pitch to Kuczynski, outside ball 1. 1-0 the count to Sam Kuczynski. The windup by Tyler, and the pitch inside ball 2. 2 no strikes. You have Cal Mechanic, Yolo pitcher who went to University of Toledo. Minzy from Ohio U, and then Kirby from Kent State. 2 no strikes. 3/4 windup by Tyler, and the 2-0. And a breaking ball, and that misses outside ball 3. And the count's now with 3 no strikes. So 3-0 the count to Kuczynski. Walked and scored in the second. The windup to 3-0, and Sam takes. That's the get me over strike on the inner half. Strike 1. 3 1 strike to count. 3-1 the count to Kuczynski. The kick and the pitch, and Sam swings, and he golfs this one high back of the plate. The catcher Shoemaker loses track of the baseball. It falls behind him. It's a foul ball. I mean, it's a ball that should have been caught. I mean, Shoemaker discarded the mask. It is a high, the sun here. Looked up and was ready to make the catch, and the ball landed just back of him. So Kuczynski gets an extra life, and the count will hold at 3 2 strikes. So break for the moment, at least for the High Wheelers. No error on the play. The kick on the 3-2, and that's low outside ball 4. So the ball that was not caught turns into a walk for Kuczynski. So he walks for the second time. And now it's Tanner Smith. He walked in the second inning. Tanner Smith will dig in. And the pitch to Smith, and Tanner looks at a strike on the outside corner. And the count's at 1 strike, so Kuczynski, the runner at first base, with 2 out. So Smith mentioned he walked and then got as far as third base in the bottom of the second inning. Outfield medium depth and straightaway, and Tyler's pitching to set, low outside ball 1, 1-1. Have to try and catch up with Tanner tomorrow. Talk about his Oregon Ducks, who are going to the NCAA tournament. They'll be down at the regional at Santa Barbara. 1 strike, 2 out, 1 on. And Tyler misses outside ball 2. And the count's now with 2 1 strike. I mean, that UC Santa Barbara region with obviously the host school, UCSB, and then Oregon, Fresno State and the University of San Diego, the other schools playing down there. The 2-1 on the way, and Smith takes, and that's a strike on the outside corner. They're going to challenge that, and it's been confirmed a strike. So the count is a 2 balls and 2 strikes to Smith. And Kuczynski not a ton of speed. The runner at first being held on by Villafuerte. 1-0 High Wheelers, and the 2-2 way over the head of everybody. Way over the head of the catcher Shoemaker. The ball goes to the screen. That'll be a wild pitch. So Kuczynski down to second base. First wild pitch issued by Tyler this afternoon. And the count is now with 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3-2 the count with 2 out. Outfield medium depth and straight away. And the payoff pitch off the plate, fastball, ball 4. So the combination of Kuczynski and Smith have combined now to walk 4 times this afternoon. It's the 5th walk allowed by Tyler. And that'll put runners at first and second for Jose Gonzalez. He walked his first time. Talking about the NCAA regionals, it was a couple years ago that Texas State came within an eyelash of beating Stanford in the Stanford regional, which would have sent Texas State to the super regional. So runners lead at first and second, and the pitch, and that's down the middle, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. I seem to recall I can't remember, it was a missed fly ball in center field by one of the Texas State players, but Gonzalez in that regional did make the all-regional team. Runners lead at first and second. 1-0 Yolo, bottom 3, and the pitch swing and a tapper on the grass toward third. Charged and gloved by Bathauer. Throws across to the first baseman Villafuerte just in time, and Gonzalez is out. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men stranded. We go to the 4th inning this afternoon. 1-0 Yolo out in front over Grand Junction on YouTube Live. Austin Shoemaker gets the 4th inning going for Grand Junction. 1-0 Yolo, and the pitch on the way to Shoemaker is taken for a strike on the outside corner. And the count is at no balls and 1 strike. So 0-1 the count to Shoemaker. So Shoemaker, Disla, and then the top of the Grand Junction order for the center fielder in Fisher, as Dawson Lane delivers in the 0-1, and that's taken for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Shoemaker walked in the second inning. 1-0 Yolo, and he swings here on a pop-up foul left side. No balls and 2 strikes it remains. So 0-2 the count. And the pitch, and that's outside for a ball. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Shoemaker, big hole out in right center. And Lane from the set delivers, and a breaking ball, chopped foul up along first. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Talking about Lane, we mentioned his time in Lakeland, meaning at Florida Southern College. I had a chance to go see that ballpark back in December. I went over to say hello to Lance Niekro, talking about Lance before, his college coach, the former Giant first baseman. 1-2 pitch inside 2-2, and where Lane played his college baseball is at a park that's almost 100 years old, Henley Field in Lakeland, Florida. Walk in there, old school wooden grandstand, the kick of the 2-2, and a high chopper back of the mound. Lane has to get off the mound, fields the ball, throws to first, not in time. First baseman Kuczynski there to take the throw, but not in time. And Shoemaker has himself an infield single. So now 4 straight innings in which the Jackalopes have had the leadoff man reach. A walk in the first, single in innings 2 through 4. Shoemaker now 1 for 1, so he's at first. And now here is Disla, who comes to the plate. Jeff Disla, and he shows bunt and takes outside ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes. But yeah, it was neat to see Henley Field. Obviously a lot of history there. Pretty symbolic of ballparks that were built back in the early 30s with the old covered wooden grandstand. The kick on the 1-0 pitch. There goes Shoemaker. Pitch swing and a miss. Throw to second base. And out with a slide is Shoemaker. Throw was taken by the second baseman Leday from the catcher Minzy. So 2-4 on the caught stealing. And that's out number 1 here on the top of the 4th inning. 1-0 Yolo. And the count is at 1 ball and 1 strike. But when I went over to visit Lance Niekro, I was thinking the baseball field was on the Florida Southern campus. Lance texts me and, says, yeah, just come on over to the baseball field at, 10 o'clock. So I figure, all right, I'll go over to the campus. I can probably, easy enough to find the baseball field on campus. 1-1 pitch, foul to the screen. Strike 2, 1-2, bunted, foul to the screen. 1-2 the count with a 1-0 advantage for the Yolo High Wheelers. So I go over to the Florida Southern campus, and I'm driving all over the place. I see a softball field. I see a basketball gym. I don't see any baseball field. The 1-2, and that's flying high in the air into right field. Guerra in the sun out there, and Kyle reaches up to make the catch. And Disla is out for the second time, now 0 for 2. 2 out, 4th inning, top half, and a 1-0 advantage for the Yolo High Wheelers. And for the 3rd time this afternoon, Grand Junction will go to the top of its order for the center fielder in Lavoisier Fisher. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. So, it's getting close to, 10 o'clock whenever we're supposed to meet Lance. It's got to be like 9:50 or so. As the pitch is a strike on the outside corner, 0-1, and I text Lance, and I said, Lance, where's your ballpark? He says, oh, it's Henley Field. And I texted him back and said, oh, that's not on campus, is it? He said, no. So no more than about a 10-minute drive from campus. So I went over and still saw him around 10 o'clock. And kind of a treat to see that old stadium where Florida Southern plays. As the 0-1 pitch outside, ball 1. And the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, Lane, prior to his time at Florida Southern, pitched 2 seasons at Montreat College in North Carolina. That's an NAIA school. A 1-1 pitch outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count to Fisher. The kick and the pitch, and that's low from Lane, ball 3. So now 3 balls and 1 strike. But whether it be talking to Lane or Sam Kaczynski or Justin Kirby, a few of the High Wheelers players, this is really all their first time ever out in California. The kick in the 3-1, and that's popped up foul third base side. Banks will have a look, and the third baseman runs out of room. And the count is now at 3 balls and 2 strikes with a 1-0 Yolo advantage. Here in the top of the 4th inning. But yeah, always fun to meet guys who've never been out this way. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with Rios on deck. The kick and the payoff. Swing and a chopper towards second to his left. Leday, the second baseman, will throw from the outfield grass, not in time. Boy, I don't know if Leday got his feet tied up or just took too much time getting rid of the ball on his throw to the first baseman, Kaczynski. But that'll be an infield single for Fisher. Can't really charge an error there. I mean, the ball wasn't bobbled or anything like that. It wasn't booted. It was just Leday got to it. Just looked like he took a little too much time, and Fisher with good speed beats out the throw. So he is aboard now, 1 for 2. Now it's Rios with 2 out and 1 on, and he takes a breaking pitch, and that's a strike on the outside corner. And the count's at no balls and 1 strike with Drew Sackett wetting on deck. That's now 6 hits for Grand Junction. Lane from the set deals, and Rios flies this one to right, but Guerra playing right there. Shallow makes the catch. So Rios flies to right. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man stranded. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It remains 1-0 Yolo leading Grand Junction. You're listening to Yolo High Wheelers Baseball on YouTube Live. On we go to the bottom half of inning number 4. 1-0 Yolo leading Grand Junction. Doug Greenwald with you on YouTube Live. Again, we'll be on YouTube Live, the rest of, the rest of this series. And also throughout our road games this year. The pitch on the way, and that's taken by Bobby Leday for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Leday, Banks, and Guerra, bottom 3rd of the order, to face the right-hander and Jonathan Tyler. Leday hit with a pitch with the bases loaded his first time, and he takes high ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors for Yolo. No runs, 6 hits, no errors for Grand Junction. Jackalopes have stranded 8 through 4 innings. As a pitch to Leday, high ball 2. And the count's at 2 balls and 1 strike to Leday. I mean, again, both teams have had their share of opportunities. Yolo, I thought, was really going to break through in that second inning. Tyler winds the 2-1, and Ledet looks up and in. Ball 3. And the count's at 3-1. And Yolo had bases loaded, nobody out, and then a bases loaded hit by pitch, but didn't score after that, the 3-1. And that's low and in, ball 4. So Ledet on base for the second time. On base safely for the second time without the aid of a hit. That's a 6th walk issued by Tyler. And now Kirkland Banks will come up. Now he was up with the bases loaded with nobody out and a run in that second inning, but struck out swinging. So Ledet, the runner at first base, being held on by Villafuerte. Ledet stolen base last night and the pitch, and that's popped up foul back of the plate. Strike 1 by Banks. And the count is at no balls and 1 strike. So 0-1 the count. And the pitch, there goes Ledet, and Banks swings and drives on high and foul left side. And the count's at no balls and 2 strikes from Tyler, who mentioned is from the northern L.A. area, but went to school at Campbell University. He's a transfer from L.A. Mission College. Went to St. Francis High School, well-known high school down in La Cañada, the L.A. region. No balls, 2 strikes. Ledet at first, and the pitch to Banks outside, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes. As mentioned, played 3 seasons at Campbell University. So 3-2 the count, or 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch up and in, ball 2. And the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Campbell's upped its conference profile a little bit, moving from the Big South to the Colonial Athletic Association, or now the Coastal Athletic Association, as it's known. 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. Ledet at first, and Banks swings and lines one just over the leaping shortstop Disla into left field, a base hit, and Ledet getting a good read on that. He is going to go first to third, and Banks will hold at first with a single. So Ledet at third. Banks now 1 for 2. That's the second hit for the High Wheelers. 1-0 Yolo. First and third, nobody out, and now Kyle Guerra will come up. So Banks now sits safely in the first 5 Yolo games this year. And now Guerra will dig in. He is 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in the second inning. 1-0 in favor of Yolo. Again, Guerra was up with the bags full and 1 out in that second inning. And he takes low and in from Tyler, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes. Another count to Guerra, who grew up a Giants fan, grew up a lot closer to the Oakland Coliseum in San Leandro, but right along 880, but was more of a Giants fan than an A's fan. 1 ball, no strikes the count. Well, Ledet's at third. Banks is at first. And the pitch on the way with Banks going. Taken outside. No throw down to second. So give Banks a stolen base. So Kirkland Banks now at second base. Holding at third is Ledet. So now it's second and third. With nobody out, and the infield comes in. Stolen base for Banks is his 3rd this year. It's already the 17th steal for the High Wheelers this year through just 4+ games now. 2 balls, no strikes. So the infield is in. Outfield, medium depth and straight away. A run, 2 hits and no errors for Yolo. No run, 6 hits, no errors for Grand Junction. So Ledet is at third. Banks at second. And the 2 ball, no strike pitch. And that's low and in, ball 3. And the count's at 3 balls and no strikes. To Kyle Guerra, who was with the San Rafael Pacifics last year in the Pecos League. Well, pretty much a Northern California guy through and through. 3 balls, no strikes. And the pitch, that's in the dirt. Ball 4, good block by Shoemaker. So that loads him up. And I'd have to think that Tyler would be nearing the end of the line right now. He's going to have his exact pitch count. That's his 7th walk. So it's going to eat up a lot of pitches. And, you know, even when you strike out guys, sure, you like doing that if you're a pitcher. But at the same time, you strike out guys, you're going to use up some bit of the arm as well. And the Grand Junction manager, Chris Nobbenshoe, he's on his way to the mound. So is the trainer, Erin Ihrig. She is coming out there, and hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, capital I-H-R-I-G. But I think they're going to check on Tyler. Mentioned this weekend, 4:30 start on Friday. It'll be finals Friday here. So anyone that comes to the ballpark gets those old green and white Scantron sheets, and of course the blue essay book as well in preparation of finals. Well, that is going to be all for Tyler. He is leaving, and he's leaving with the trainer. So we have a pitching change. Somebody's coming in back of the left field corner. So the score with the bases loaded and nobody out in the bottom of the 4th inning, Yolo 1 and Grand Junction nothing. Back in a moment on YouTube Live. Back on YouTube Live as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is 1-0 Yolo out in front, and the new pitcher for Grand Junction is right-hander Nathan Gilman, 6'3", 220 pounds. Went to college at Willamette University up in Salem, Oregon, so he gets the baseball. Spent 4 seasons pitching with the Willamette Bearcats of the Northwest Conference. Well, that's an NCAA Division III school. So just 2 games of pro experience for Gilman. So this is his first pro year. 3rd appearance now out of the bullpen this season. So far has allowed 10 earned runs over 4 innings. Inherits the bases loaded with nobody out. Top of the Yolo order for the 3rd time for the center fielder and Braylon Skinner. And the first pitch to Skinner is outside, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes. So, again, the High Wheelers have a chance at a bundle here, much like they've had a chance at a bundle in innings 2, 3, and now the 4th. The kick of the 1-0. And Skinner made a motion of the pitch and did not go around. And that's ball 2. And the count's at 2 balls and no strikes. Gilman, 6'2", 205 pounds. He's 26 years old. And Nathan Gilman, the kick on the 2-0. And that's a strike called on the outside corner. And the count's at 2 balls and 1 strike. So Jonathan Tyler, the starter, out of the game now after going 3+ innings. 2 balls and 1 strike. And the pitch, and that swung on and driven high in the air to deep right field. Sends Henderson back to make the catch. Leday tags from third. He will score standing up to make it 2-0 now. Yolo, and not only that, that's pretty productive out. You get a sacrifice fly, plus you advance. Banks going second to third. Guerra holds at first. So the High Wheelers, another chance for a sac fly here. 2-0 now, Yolo. So Leday scores and gives Skinner, as he stays 0 for 2 with a sac fly, but give him a run batted in. Now it's Braylon Marine who digs in. And the pitch to Marine, and that's tapped up along the grass, third base side, and nothing the third baseman Bathauer could do. He was hoping that it would go foul, tried to barehand it, and that's all he could do. Infield single, Banks scores. Marine has an infield hit and a run batted in. So it's his 6th hit of the series, 4 last night, 2 now this evening, and it's 3-0 Yolo. And now it's Mason Minzy who will dig in. By the way, the sac fly by Skinner, RBI for him, was his 6th on that. And then Marine, RBI a moment ago. That's his 6th this year. Now it's Mason Minzy who fouls onto the screen, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Guerra moves to second base on that infield hit. So Marine is at first base. 3-0 now Yolo. Still only 1 out, 4th inning, bottom half. Outfield medium depth and straight away. Middle infield looking at turn 2. The kick in the 0-1 from Gilman. And that's a strike called on the outside corner. And the count's no balls and 2 strikes. Mentioned Nathan Gilman out of Willamette College in Oregon. He's originally from Southern California. He's from Chino Hills, out in the Inland Empire area on the direction of, I guess you could say, Ontario, upland out that way. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out, and the pitch, swing and a miss. Pitch down and away, strike 3, so Minzy comes up empty there, and that's Gilman's first strikeout. So 2 out, and now here is Sam Kaczynski. 3-0 Yolo, bottom half of the 4th inning. But Gilman played his called his high school baseball Diamond Ranch High in Chino Hills. So now Kaczynski bats. He's walked twice, has scored a run. Runner at second is Guerra. Marine at first, and the pitch, and that's low and in, ball 1. And the count is at 1 ball and no strikes from Gilman, who played summer baseball back in 2018. That seems like a long time ago, 6 years ago. In this region, played up in Lincoln, north of Sacramento. The 1-0 pitch and a breaking ball, and that's taken for a strike on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Played for the Lincoln Potters in the Great West League, a summer league. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 3-0 High Wheelers. Bottom half of the 4th. And the pitch, and a weak swing and miss. Good breaking pitch there. Looked like a curve, and Kaczynski tied up there. Doesn't get it. Strike 2. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count to Kaczynski, spending his first ever few weeks on the West Coast as he swings and rolls this ball deep in the hole at short. Grabbed by Disla, and is sort of Villafuerte at first, just in time to get Kaczynski. But the High Wheelers add to the lead, take advantage of the leadoff walk. 2 runs, there were 2 hits, no errors, and 2 stranded. We go to the 5th inning. 3-0 Yolo out in front over Grand Junction. Yolo will have a new pitcher when we get back on YouTube Live. 3-0 Yolo as we go on to the top half of the 5th inning. Yolo 3, Grand Junction nothing. So both starters are done. The new pitcher for the Yolo High Wheelers is the right-hander Ben Ferrer. 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the High Wheelers. No runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Jackalopes. So Dawson Lane will get a no decision today for Yolo in his first start in the Pioneer League. Lane, 4 shutout innings, 6 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a wild pitch. But Lane was able to dance his way in and out of trouble. Again, 8 were stranded by the High Wheelers, or by the Jackalopes, I should say. So now Ben Ferrer, his 3rd outing of the year, delivers, and the first pitch is outside ball 1 to Drew Sackett. 1 ball and no strike. Sackett, Turner, and Henderson. 3, 4, and 5 to face Ferrer. Wears his white pants up to his knees. And the kick in the 1-0. And that's a strike called on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jonathan Tyler today for the Jackalopes, 3+ innings. 2 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 7, struck out 2, hit a batter, and offered a wild pitch. Ferrer's 1-1, and that's high ball 2, 2-1. From Ben Ferrer, 0-1 this year. He's allowed 5 runs, all earned over 3 innings. Ferrer with the losing pitcher in game 1 of the doubleheader last Sunday against Rocky Mountain. The 2-1 pitch, and that's driven toward left center field, and it's going to get down for a hit. To his left to grab the ball, the left fielder Gonzalez, and he'll get it back in towards second. So Drew Sackett opens the top of the 5th inning with a single. And now Matt Turner will come to the plate. So now all 5 innings, the Jackalopes have had the leadoff man on, but you look at the fact that they have 7 hits, have had a lot of base runners. It's still 3-0 Yolo. Turner is 0 for 2. And Ferrer's pitch, high ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes from Ben Ferrer, capital F-E-R-R-E-R. 24 years old, 5'11", 195 pounds, out of Alpharetta, Georgia. 1 ball, no strikes. And the pitch, and that's a breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ferrer, a 4-seam fastball, a cutter, a curveball, and a changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. I mentioned Alpharetta, Georgia, where Justin Kirby is from. The player just signed yesterday by Yolo, and I said, well, you're an Alpharetta guy. Ferrer's an Alpharetta guy. So you guys are both from Alpharetta, but they don't know one another. They went to different high schools. The kick in the 1-1, and a slider, swing and a miss, strike 2. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes. When I was talking to Kirby before the game, I said, well, I'm guessing, you must know Ferrer, both being from Alpharetta. He said, no, we don't. He said, I looked at the roster. Kirby said, I looked at the roster before I signed, or looked at the roster, whatever it might have been. And he's like, wow, they got an Alpharetta guy on the team, but I don't know Ben at all. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Turner. Lead at first base by Sackett, being held on by Kuczynski. 3-0 High Wheelers, top of the 5th. And the 1-2 pitch, and a high chopper to third, back of the bag, leaping to grab it. Banks, long throw across to Kuczynski on 1 hop, not in time. Good effort by Banks. Good job to at least keep the ball from going down the third base line. And he had no chance to get Sackett on the force at second, and good effort to throw across the diamond, and a good pick at first by Kuczynski. But Turner beats it out, so now it's first and second with nobody out. Visitors half of the 5th inning. It is 3-0 in favor of the High Wheelers. And now it's Drew Henderson, or Damian Henderson, who comes up. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Well, runners at first and second. Henderson, the possible tying run. And the pitch is fouled to the screen, strike 1. And the count is a no balls and 1 strike from Ferrer, who played his college baseball at both South Carolina Upstate, that's in Spartanburg, and also at Oregon State University. Went to South Carolina Upstate first, the 0-1 pitch, and that is high for a ball. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike to Damian Henderson. Ferrer hoping for a ground ball at one of his infielders right here. One ball and one strike to count. Now a turn and a look at second base, but that's it. Yeah, Kirby went to Alpharetta High School in the Atlanta area, and then Ferrer went to South Forsyth High School, also in Alpharetta. One ball, one strike, with nobody out. 2 on, and Ferrer's pitch up and away, ball 2. And the count's at 2 balls and 1 strike from Ferrer. Again, 5'11", 195 pounds, was with the Glacier Ball Club last year in the Pioneer League. So 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Again, runners at first and second. The kick and the pitch, and a breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike 2. And the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer. In that loss the other day, Yolo, going to the 6th inning, had a 3-run lead, but then, I say the other day, meaning Sunday, but then there was a 6-run top of the 6th by Rocky Mountain that really flipped that game over. The kick on the 2-2, and that's laced down the right field side, high and foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Ferrer in that game worked 2+ innings, allowed 3 hits, 5 runs all earned. Walked 2, struck out 3 for Ferrer. 2-2 the count to Henderson, and he's 1 for 1 this afternoon. First and second, and the 2-2 pitch up and away, ball 3 to Damian Henderson. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to the 26-year-old and Henderson, who was with the Ogden Raptors last year. So 3-2 the count. And the kick and the payoff, and Henderson swings and misses, strike 3. Breaking ball gets Henderson, and he is out. So it's the first strikeout for Ferrer. First out here, and the visitors have the 5th inning, and now it's Conrad Villafuerte who digs in. He is 1 for 2 with an infield single. 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the High Wheelers. No runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Jackalopes. Now Villafuerte, the possible tying run, and he takes a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Shade starting to creep across the warning track in right field. Right fielder Guerra standing in a little pocket of shade. Gonzalez in left and Skinner in center, both in the sun. Turn throw back to second. The shortstop Marine there to take it, but fortunately, Marine was back of the bag, took that throw. Wasn't really on top of the bag, and back safely standing up is Sackett. No runs, or the count is at no balls and 1 strike. And the pitch on the way, and a breaking ball, a swing and a miss, strike 2. And the count's at no balls and 2 strikes with a 3-0 Yolo advantage. Top half of the 5th inning. Ferrer, first base side of the rubber. Kicks in the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Boy, it looked like a changeup there, and he pulled the string on Villafuerte. So after 2 are on, now it's back-to-back strikeouts for Ferrer. So 2 out, and now it's Bathauer who will come up for the 3rd time. He is 1 for 2 with a single. So it keeps Sackett at second and Turner at first. And now Ferrer digs in. Now Bathauer digs in and Ferrer delivers, and that's up and in, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes to Bathauer. Mentioned 89 degrees at first pitch. Gorgeous day for baseball here in Yolo County. 1 ball, no strikes to count. And the pitch, breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike 1. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike. In the ballpark here, right on the center of campus. You see the pavilion, the basketball arena, just behind the right field fence. You have the soccer field that's just to the 3rd base side of the stadium. The kick in the 1-1, and that's popped up. Back of the plate, the catcher Minzy near the screen, and he cannot get it. The ball ends just back of the netting. And the count's at 1-2. Football field here, down the block a little bit across from the parking structure. Of course, there is more than just basketball at that pavilion. I believe they play volleyball there, too. And I think gymnastics as well. One sport that I guess volleyball as well, that I don't really know a whole lot about. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch reached for, and that's popped up down the first base line. And out goes the first baseman, Kaczynski, with his back running away from the play, running all the way down the right field line. Sliding effort came up empty. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bathauer. Not sure if I've ever incorporated a gymnastics term during a baseball game. Maybe I've said an outfielder made a somersault-like catch. Maybe I've said that. But I don't think I've ever used the term parallel bars in baseball. That one I don't think I ever have. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count with 2 out. Runners at first and second. 3-0 Yolo. Top of the 5th, and the 1-2 pitch, and that's taken outside, ball 2 by Bathauer. And the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer. He and his Yolo teammates in the white shirts, white pants, High Wheelers spelled across the front of the shirt in black. Black cap, yellow bill. Players some of the players have the yellow cleats, some have the black cleats. The kick in the 2-2. And Bathauer inside outs this one and pops it up foul right side. 2-2. The Jackalopes in the purple tops today. Button down shirts. Lope spelled across the front of the shirt in white. Big white number on the back of the shirt, going with the gray pants. Blue, white, and purple caps. 2-2. Low ball 3. And the count's now at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3-2 the count with 2 out. And the runners will be off automatically. 3-0 Yolo, top of the 5th inning. So Sackett from second, Turner from first. Both ready to take off. The 3-2 from Ferrer. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Curve gets him. And Bathauer is out. So first 2 reach, and then it's strikeout, 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 all swinging. In that order, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left, halfway done. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning from Dobbins Stadium. It is Yolo 3 and Grand Junction nothing here on YouTube Live. Halfway done, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning and a 3-0 lead for the Yolo High Wheelers. Doug Greenwald with you here on YouTube Live. We'll be on YouTube Live all week and even next week over in Oakland. So Tanner Smith leads it off, and the first pitch on the way from Gilman is up and away, ball 1-1-0. Nathan Gilman, who came on last inning to face the High Wheelers. So Smith, Gonzalez, and Leday, 5, 6, 7. And the pitch on the way to Smith hit foul up along first, strike one. And the count's at 1-1 strike to Smith, who gets his first start as the DH this season. 1 strike. 3/4 windup by Gilman. And Smith drives one foul right side. 1-2 strikes to Smith, who has walked twice tonight. Smith walked 3 times last night, has walked twice tonight. So 5 times in this series. The 1-2 on the way, low ball 2. 2 strikes the count. And he's walked now 7 times over now his first 5 games. So 2 strikes the count to Smith. Outfield shallow around to the left. Big hole out in right center as Gilman winds. 3/4 windup to 2-2, and that's foul to the backstop. And the count remains at 2 strikes. Talking earlier about Smith and his Oregon Ducks going to the NCAA tournament. That'll start Friday. The Division I baseball tournament. Field of 64 begins on Friday. 2 strikes. Gilman winds and the delivery, and that's just off the plate, ball 3. 3 strikes the count. Mentioned the Oregon team will play the University of San Diego. It's the 2 versus 3 matchup down at UC Santa Barbara. The kick in the 3-2. Swung on, and that's driven toward left center field. That's going to get down a base hit. Far to his left Turner to grab the ball, and the left fielder gets it in towards second. So Smith, his second hit of the year, his first hit today, now 1 for 1. And for the High Wheelers, that is hit number 4. A 3-0 Yolo advantage. And now here is the left fielder in Jose Gonzalez. Yeah, Fresno State was a bit of surprise getting there. They were not expected to win the Mountain West tournament, and they ended up doing that, getting the automatic bid and getting in as the, understandably, the 4 seed. Hey, they're in. Who cares? Here's Gonzalez, and that's low ball 1. 1 no strikes. And, of course, here we are playing professionally on a field of a Big West school. And the Big West representatives in the field of 64 will be UC Santa Barbara, also UC Irvine. They'll be going to the NCAA tournament out of the Big West. Count is at 1 no strikes to Gonzalez. 0 for 1, as I said, with a walk. So Smith, the runner at first base, not a terribly big lead. 3-0 Yolo, bottom of the 5th inning. And the pitch from the set, and Gonzalez takes, and that's up and away, ball 2. And the count's now at 2 no strikes. So 2-0 the count. And Gilman delivers, and that's swung on by Gonzalez and driven high towards center field. Since Fisher going all the way back, reaches out and somehow pulls it in. Great play there by the center fielder in Lavoisier Fisher. He had to go all the way out. It's 410 feet to straightaway center, and he had a curve just a little to his right to make the play. And Smith, who had gone almost all the way to second, has to go all the way back to first. Great play there by Lavoisier Fisher. And that's out number 1 here in the bottom of inning number 5, and a 3-0 advantage for the Yolo High Wheelers. Now it's Bobby Leday who bats. Been on base twice, a run scored and an RBI, but without an official at bat. He's been on base safely twice. The pitch on the way, outside ball 1. 1 and no strikes. So Smith at first, being held on by Villafuerte. 1 no strikes the count. And Gilman from the high set kicks and delivers, and that's low inside ball 2 to Leday. 2 and no strikes to Leday. Mentioned that 8th inning grand slam last night. The first home run ever in the history of this franchise. The kick on the 2-0, low and away. Ball 3-0, so might as well make it a grand slam. And lost in all of that, I was giving a lot of the stats last night because there was a lot going on. That was also his first pro home run. So his first pro home run, a grand slam, and the first home run in the history of this franchise, the grand slam. Smith at first, the kick in the 3-0, and Leday takes, low and in, ball 4. So Smith up to second base, and Leday now on base safely for the third time today. And I was talking earlier about it's pretty much a given you're going to get the, in terms of official at-bats in the box score, you're going to have at least one official at-bat. But Leday been on base 3 times now, as I said, safely, meaning on a walk or a hit by pitch. If you don't get a hit, you can get on base safely on a walk or a hit by pitch. He doesn't have an official at-bat, but he's had a run scored and an RBI. Now the pitch on the way to Banks, and that's driven toward right. To his left, Henderson, and Damian Henderson, the right fielder, will be there to make the catch. And that is out number 2 here in the 5th inning. The bottom of the 5th inning, it is 3-0 Yolo. And now Kyle Guerra bats for the 3rd time. He is 0 for 1. He has struck out swinging and has walked. Well, that's what I love about baseball. You come out here, you don't know what you're going to see from game to game. So now Guerra digs in. Outfield medium depth and straight away. So Smith at second, Leday at first. And the pitch on the way to Guerra. Chopper to second base. Big bounce right for Sackett. The second baseman sort of via Fuerte in plenty of time. And that gets Guerra. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 stranded. We go to the 6th inning. It is Yolo 3 and Grand Junction nothing on YouTube Live. Again, tomorrow we reconvene at 4:30 for the first pitch. We'll start the YouTube live feed at about 4:20, roughly about 4:20. The next several games of this series. Tomorrow's pitching matchup: right-hander Frank Rashopa will go for Grand Junction. Right-hander Brandon McPherson will make the start for Yolo in his first appearance as a high wheeler. Austin Shoemaker leads it off, and Ben Ferrer's first pitch, a breaking ball taken for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for Yolo. 0-8-0 for Grand Junction. Shoemaker, Disla, and then the top of the Grand Junction order for the center fielder Fisher. As the 0-1 on the way is outside ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike. Shoemaker, an infield single in the 4th inning. So again, he's 1 for 1. Ferrer came on in the 5th. First 2 batters reached against him, but then he was able to strike out the next 3 batters as he misses outside ball 2. And the count's now at 2 balls and 1 strike to Austin Shoemaker. Ferrer, white pants up to his knees, delivers, and Shoemaker takes, and that's a strike on the outside corner. And the count's now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Shoemaker. First, as I said, first appearance of this series. And the 2-2 on the way, low ball 3. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to count to Shoemaker. Again, the first 5 innings, all of those innings, the leadoff man has reached for Grand Junction 3-2, and Shoemaker swings and he pops this one up, foul territory, third base side, and over near the Grand Junction dugout. It's the third baseman, Kirkland Banks, who makes the catch. So the first time today, the leadoff man has not reached for Grand Junction, and Shoemaker is out, 1 down. And now it's Disla who will come up. Jeff Disla will dig in for the first time. Disla plays college baseball at Northern State University in South Dakota. The first pitch is outside, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes. Disla grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. That's up in the New York City area. The kick in the 1-0, and that's high, ball 2-2. They have a MLB partner league team there. The New Jersey Jackals playing Paterson at Hinchcliffe Stadium. That is an old Negro League stadium. 2 balls, no strikes to count. 3-0 Yolo. And the pitch and a breaking ball, and that's taken for a strike on the outside corner. 2-1. Yeah, they've revamped that stadium. And still like the shell of the stadium, like the old grandstand still there, but revamped the field, the playing surface, and all that. A lot of history there. The 2-1 pitch, and Disla takes a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that's where the Jackals are now playing in the Frontier League. 2-2 the count. 3-0 the High Wheelers out in front. Top of the 6th inning. The kick in the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Change up there. Strike 3. And Disla is out. That's the 4th strikeout for Ferrer. And now for the 4th time this afternoon, Grand Junction will go to the top of its order for the center fielder, Lavoisier Fisher. He is 1 for 2, a walk and an infield hit. There's Ferrer from the setting with nobody on deals, and that swung on line up the middle, back a second, but 2 is left. The shortstop Marine is sort of first, just in time to get Fisher. Boy, I couldn't believe they. Not so much, I'm not at all questioning the call at first, but I mean that ball was smoked up the middle, and Marine, the shortstop, made a great play moving to his left. That was a hard-hit ball, and Fisher's got a lot of speed. Marine still was able to throw to Kaczynski at first and get Fisher by an eyelash. And that ends the top of the 6th. The Grand Junction goes in order for the first time today. In fact, it's the first time either side has gone 1-2-3 this afternoon. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It stays Yolo 3, Grand Junction nothing on YouTube Live. On we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-0 Yolo out in front over Grand Junction. This is Doug Greenwald. You're listening to Yolo High Wheelers here on YouTube Live. Glad you can join us. And Braylon Skinner leads it off. Top of the Yolo order for the 4th time now for Skinner. It's Nathan Gilman into his 3rd inning delivers, and the pitch bunted foul up along 3rd, strike 1. And the count's at no balls and 1 strike, so appreciate all of you tuning in here this afternoon. So no balls and 1 strike the count. And the pitch, breaking ball, that's up and away, ball 1. And the count's now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here on YouTube Live. 1-1 the count. Skinner 0 for 2 with a sac fly. And Braylon takes a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think a long time ago when I started broadcasting, it was right as the internet was starting, the kick on the 1-2. And that's driven toward shallow left center. And that's going to get down a base hit to his left. The left fielder Turner plays it on a hop. And Skinner has a single to left. So he is aboard. That's the 5th hit now for the High Wheelers, a 3-0 Yolo lead. And now Braylon Marine will come to the plate. He is 2 for 3, a couple of singles, including an RBI infield hit. Yeah, if someone were to say to me when I started broadcasting, turn, throw to first, and the ball gets away down the right field side, gets away from the first baseman Villafuerte and down to second base. Goes Skinner. There'll be a throwing error on the pitcher Gilman, E1. Hard to believe here we are a game and a half into the series now. And I mentioned this before, all the chaos last night with all the runs and all the hits. And we've seen a lot of base runners so far today. That's the first error for either team in this series. And it comes on a play where it did not involve a batted ball. So now Marine's job, get a ground ball to the right side. The pitch on the way, and that's taken for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike with a 3-0 Yolo advantage over Grand Junction. Bottom of the 6th inning. Well, anyway, someone had said, yeah, we can go on YouTube Live. I wouldn't have had any idea what that meant. Well, of course, it didn't exist then either. No balls and 1 strike. A pitch from the set, and Marine a big swing and a high fly ball toward right. Henderson near the line and in foul ground makes the catch, and no advance by Skinner. So Marine did all he could right there. I mean, he intended to get the ball to the right side, tried to get it far enough in the air, just couldn't. So Skinner holds at second base. Marine now 2 for 4 this afternoon. 3-0 Yolo, bottom of the 6th inning. And now Mason Minzy comes up. He is 0 for 3. And the shade field is in right. Still plenty of sun out in center and left field. As Gilman looks back at second. And the pitch on the way, and that's taken low, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes to Minzy. So last night, every High Wheeler in the lineup had at least a hit. Obviously meant they at least reached base safely. Minzy, the only High Wheeler not to reach base this afternoon. Trying to change that here. 1 ball, no strikes, the kick and the pitch. And that's in the dirt, ball 2. And the count's at 2 balls and no strikes to Mason Minzy. 2-0 the count to Minzy. He's from the Flint, Michigan area. Played 1 year at Texas Tech before transferring to Ohio U. The 2-0. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 1. And the count's now at 2 balls and 1 strike. Minzy was 2018 All-USA Michigan baseball first team while he was in high school. And really rated as the #1 catcher for high school catchers in Michigan as a senior. 2 balls, 1 strike to count with 1 out. 3-0 Yolo, bottom half of the 6th inning. And the 2-ball, 1-strike pitch, and Minzy takes up and away, ball 3. And now taking off for third on the delayed steal, but thrown out, trying to slide his way in. Skinner, he is out. He tried to sneak a quick one on the catcher, Shoemaker, and Austin Shoemaker threw to the third baseman in Bathauer, and Skinner is out. So it's a huge difference there. Instead of a runner at third and 1 out, 2 out, and nobody on. It's a big, big swing there. Swing in terms of difference. And now, of course, Gilman can go back out of the windup. 3/4 windup is 3-1. And that's low and in, ball 4. So Minzy does reach base now. So back-to-back games in which Yolo, that every batter now for Yolo has reached base safely. Second walk allowed by Gilman. It's the 9th walk allowed by Grand Junction pitching this afternoon. And now it's Kuczynski. He's walked twice. He is 0 for 1. 2 walks and a run scored. Six of the 9 High Wheelers have walked today. And now Kuczynski bats. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike to Kuczynski. And I was talking with him, Kuczynski that is, about his first time ever on the West Coast. Told me he'd never been out here until a couple of weeks ago, and the players started reporting. 1 ball, no strikes. And the pitch Kuczynski takes outside, ball 2. 2-0. Kuczynski, who grew up near Atlanta and Powder Springs, Georgia, and told me, he says, yeah, when I went on trips with my family, it was never to California, usually it was to Florida. 1 ball, 1 strike to count with 2 out. 1 on. 3-0 Yolo. Gilman deals, and Kuczynski flies this one toward right field. Since Henderson going back into the shade, and he'll be there in the gap at right center to make the catch, moving to his right. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left. On to the 7th. It stays Yolo 3 and Grand Junction nothing on YouTube Live. Getting to the top of the 7th inning, it is 3-0 Yolo out in front over Grand Junction. And Chris Englund will come on and do the pitching for the 2nd straight day and really for the 3rd straight game. He pitched game 2 on Sunday, 2 innings out of the bullpen, and then we were off on Monday and then pitched last night, and now back at it today. So Englund on to pitch. Andres Rios leads it off, 3-0 Yolo. Top of the 7th, and the first pitch outside, ball 1 to Rios. 1 ball, no strikes. So Rios, Sackett, and Turner, 2, 3, and 4 with a 3-0 lead for the High Wheelers. Top of the 7th, and Englund's pitch, and that's a strike on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Ben Ferrer in middle relief today, 2 shutout innings, gave up 2 hits, no walks, struck out 4. Rios is 1 for 3 with a single. And the 1-1 pitch to Rios. And he pops this one up foul back of the plate, and that is strike 2. And the count's at 1-2 from Anglin, who's 5'11", 175 pounds, native of Bakersfield. 22 years old in Anglin. So 1-2. Rios scripts the bat right on the end, and the pitch swung on, and that's lined towards center. And on comes Skinner to make a diving catch. That ball hit sharply, but Braylon Skinner right there to make the diving play, and Rios is out, one down. And now Drew Sackett will come to the plate. We've seen some good outfield play this afternoon. So Skinner handles that ball. And now it's Sackett, who's 1 for 2, a walk, a single. And he swings at the first pitch, and he pops it up foul, back of the plate, strike one. And the count is at 0-1 strike. Well, Braylon Skinner, clearly a football play right there, almost like a wide receiver diving to make a catch. Skinner played football in high school in Mississippi. As the 0-1 on the way is outside, ball one. And the count is at 1-1 strike. Braylon Skinner, 4-time letter winner in baseball and in football. In high school out in northwest Mississippi. 1-1 strike, and the pitch high, ball two. And the count's now at 2-1 strike. Yeah, Skinner, I mentioned, played 2 years at Mississippi State and then transferred to the University of Memphis. But when he was at Mississippi State, remember the NCAA College World Series winning team for the Bulldogs. The 2-1 pitch, high, ball three. 3-1 strike. Braylon and I were talking the other day about his time at Mississippi State, not the entire time, and it's one thing I failed to ask him. I'll certainly catch up with him. Talked about what that experience was like. The kick in the 3-1 here to Sackett, and that's outside, ball four. So he's on base for the third time this afternoon. 3 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for Yolo. 0-8-1 for Grand Junction. And now Matt Turner will come up. He is 1 for 3 with an infield single here at Dobbins Stadium, where it's 310 down the lines, 385 to the gaps, and 410 to straightaway center. And Chris Anglin ready to go, delivers. That pitch popped up foul, right side, strike one. And the count is at 0-1 strike. Third baseman Banks plays parallel to the bag. See, maybe 15 feet away from the bag. Middle infield looking to turn two. As Chris Anglin, first base side of the rubber, will throw to first. Kuczynski there to take the throw, and back safely standing up is Sackett. Very gentle breeze here this afternoon. Took a little stroll between innings as the pitch to Turner, swinging a high fly ball toward deep center. Sends Skinner going back, and so is this baseball. Home run. Matt Turner just to the left of the center field batter's eye. And it's now 3-2 in favor of the High Wheelers. So, mentioned Turner, you look at him and, knee-jerk reaction, big left fielder, big right-handed batter, and Turner, who stands 6'5", 225 pounds, and he hits it out. So 2-run homer to center field, and now things a lot closer. 3-2 now in favor of Yolo. And now it's Damian Henderson who will come to the plate. And the pitch to Henderson is the possible tying run. And he takes outside, ball one. And the count's at, actually the pitch was a strike, so 0-1 strike the count to Henderson, who homered last night, and he takes up and away, ball one. 1 strike. That home run for Turner, that is his first professional. I'm sorry, that's his first home run with Grand Junction. It's not his first pro home run. It's first home run as a Jackalope. As the pitch to Henderson outside, ball 2-1. So his first home run this year, / his first home run in a Grand Junction uniform. And RBI's 8 and 9. The kick on the 2-1 And Henderson, it goes around to the breaking ball, misses strike two. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Turner coming into the year, 7 pro home runs. Hit 6 with Northern Colorado a couple of years ago and 1 last year with the Traveling Empire team. The kick on the 2-2. Swing and a miss to the breaking ball, strike 3. And Henderson is down on strikes, and that's the first strikeout for England. 2 out. 3-2 Yolo. And now Conrad Villafuerte will dig in. So England, back-to-back games in which he's allowed a home run. In fact, he just struck out Henderson as a tying run. Last night he allowed a home run to Henderson. Now Villafuerte flies this ball to left field, but room for Gonzalez in the sun, and the left fielder, Jose Gonzalez, he puts it away. A walk by Sackett, 2-run homer by Turner, 2 runs, 1 hit, no errors. Nobody left. Stretch time on this Wednesday afternoon from Yolo County. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It is Yolo 3 and Grand Junction 2 on YouTube Live. Stretch time as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning from Dobbins Stadium, a 3-2 Yolo lead over Grand Junction. Doug Greenwald with you on YouTube Live. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Yolo. 2-4-1 for Grand Junction. And now the High Wheelers trying to get those runs back despite still leading. Tanner Smith leads it off from the first pitch from Nathan Gilman. Misses outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strike. Smith, Gonzalez, and Leday, 5, 6, 7 here in the 7th. Shade really creeping across now much of right field, the 1-0. And Smith drives one high and foul down the right field side, strike 1. And the count is at 1 ball and 1 strike to Tanner Smith. The windup and the 1-1, and Smith takes, and that's low and in, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike the count to Smith. We're talking about Smith and his Oregon Ducks. 1-2 the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Let me correct that. The kick and the delivery, and Smith takes low and in, ball 2, 2-2. Of course, Oregon is, I guess you could say, still along with the likes of Oregon State and Stanford, still representing the Pac-12. The windup of the 2-2. And that's grounded foul up along first. So 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Of course, Oregon next year will be moving on to the Big Ten. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch from Gilman. And that's hit through into right field, a base hit. So Smith, who, like Gilman, went to college in Oregon. Smith at, of course, the University of Oregon.
Geico covers dead batteries with their easy app and 24/7 help.
And Gilman at Willamette. And Smith now 2 for 2 here this afternoon. And now it's Gonzalez who will come up. Gonzalez is 0 for 2 with a walk. Outfield medium depth and straight away. And the pitch on the way, and that's taken outside for a ball. And the count's now at 1 ball and 1 count is at 1 ball and no strikes. But you're talking about the Pac-12 on its way out, at least on its way out as we know it. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. And the pitch, and that's
Geico can help cover cars,
2.
homes, motorcycles, and even accordion.
Count now at 2 balls and no strikes. And pitching coach Scott Budner will come out and talk to Gilman. But anyway, it's going to be kind of neat if a Pac-12 school ended up winning the baseball regionals. That could happen. Certainly Arizona. I mean, I mentioned Oregon and Oregon State. Arizona will be hosting a regional. Oregon will be playing in a regional. But anyway, it should be a lot of fun. It usually is. Always fun to see some of the smaller schools in there as well. Schools like Grambling that have a lot of history. Or saw the Grand Canyon. Kind of interesting story there. Grand Canyon, because they won the regular season in the Western Athletic Conference for baseball. Tarleton won the tournament at school in Texas, but Tarleton is not eligible yet to go to the NCAA postseason tournament. The 2-0 pitch to Gonzalez, and that's lifted high toward left field since Turner going back onto the warning track, and he leaps, and the ball is off the wall. Smith is on his way to third. He will stop there, and Jose Gonzalez has a stand-up double as the left fielder Turner gets the ball in toward third. So it's second and third now with nobody out. And the High Wheelers have a 3-2 lead, and now Bobby Leday will come to the plate. And yeah, Oregon State will be hosting a regional. I mentioned Arizona, of course, will be hosting a regional. Oregon will be going to the regional at UC Santa Barbara. I think I had said Stanford is in the tournament. I don't think that's correct. I think I'm so used to seeing Stanford in there. They are not in the NCAA tournament. So you have 3 Pac-12 schools that will be represented. So you got Oregon, Oregon State, and Arizona. So they will carry the Pac-12 flag for the last time. Stanford softball is going to the College World Series, just not baseball. We have a pitching change. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning with a score of 3-2. Yolo out in front over Grand Junction. Back to tell you about the new Jackalope pitcher in a moment on YouTube Live. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. It is 3-2. The Yolo High Wheelers out in front. The new Grand Junction pitcher, first appearance of this series for right-hander Zach Martinez, capital Z-A-C-H, 5'10", 180 pounds, and he is 23 years old. We were talking before about the NCAA playoffs coming up for baseball, the NCAA tournament. And it's kind of an interesting story they have in the Division III ranks. They have a school that no longer exists that's going to be playing in the Division III College World Series. And you're probably thinking, well, how's that possible? What do you mean it doesn't exist? I mean, how do you... But Birmingham Southern College in, Birmingham, Alabama, that school is ceasing operation. I mean, the entire school is shutting down. I mean, just the athletic department, the whole school is going kaput. But the baseball team somehow made it to the Division III World Series with its school no longer in business. Now it's Leday with the infield in, and he swings and misses strike one. No balls and one strike, but I'm sure you can read about that. But it's kind of an interesting story. The players will keep on playing while the school shuts down in a few days on May 31st. No balls, one strike to count. Big situation here. Infield in the 0-1, and Leday, big swing and a miss, strike 2, 0-2. Leday been on base safely 3 times without an official at bat. He's walked twice. He's been hit with a pitch. Hit with a pitch with the bases loaded, so he has an RBI and he has scored a run. So Smith's at third, Gonzalez at second, infield in. No balls, 2 strikes, 3-2 the score. Yolo leads it and the pitch. Leday swing and a foul of the net, out of the backstop. And the count's at no balls and 2 strikes. Well, Leday, 6 RBIs last night, including a grand slam, 4 hits. So reached base safely 4 times last night, 3 times here this afternoon. No balls and 2 strikes the count. 3-2 Yolo. Infield in and the pitch, and Leday takes up and in from Zach Martinez. And the count's now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 1-2 the count to Martinez, born in Phoenix, grew up in the Phoenix area, grew up out in the western part of Phoenix in Glendale. First year with Grand Junction, the 1-2 pitch, and that's fouled to the backstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Martinez' 3rd appearance in the early going. All out of the bullpen, no wins, no losses. 7 strikeouts over his first 5 innings. Spent last year in the developmental league, a non-professional developmental league in the Appalachian League in Elizabethton, Tennessee. The kick from the set and the 1-2, up and in, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes now from Zach Martinez, who went to Gateway Community College in Phoenix. So 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Again, shade all around right field, so the right fielder Henderson planted in the shade, the center fielder Fisher, the left fielder Turner, each in the sun. Pretty much the entire infield in the sun. 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. Leday, a high pop-up foul right side. And the count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Bobby Leday from the Houston area. Again, his first taste of professional baseball. So 2-2 the count with Banks on deck. And the pitch just high. Oh, no, they called strike 3. I was fooled. Dean Poteet not a very emphatic strike 3 call. So Leday is out. It's the first player who's literally been called out on strikes. In other words, instead of striking out swinging, Leday was called out on strikes there. So Leday, only one of the few times unable to come through in this series. So they'll keep the infield in. That's 1 out. Zach Martinez strikes out the first batter he sees. And now it's Banks who comes up. Kirkland Banks 1 for 3. Single run scored and a stolen base. And a 3-2 lead for the High Wheelers. And Banks swings and a chopper foul up along third. Strike 1. And the count's at no balls and 1 strike. Now this is a big moment here. I mean, the High Wheelers, after allowing 2 runs in the top of the inning on the home run by Turner, have to at least get 1 run back in second and third and 1 out now. No balls and 1 strike to count. And the pitch, and that's up and away for a ball. And the count now 1 ball and 1 strike to Kirkland Banks. We've seen play third base so far in the early going. Seen him at second. We've seen him in left field. The 1-1 pitch outside, ball 2. And the count's now with 2 balls and 1 strike. To Banks, who, you mentioned all those positions, really, I guess you could say utility player, but he's a starting utility player. He's a guy that can play all over, but in a starting role. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Martinez's pitch off the plate, ball 3, 3-1 to Banks, who rests that bat on his right shoulder. Product of Lake Charles, Louisiana. So 3 balls and 1 strike to count. Banks has singled, stolen a base, and has scored today. 3-2, Yolo. 7th inning, bottom half. In infield in. And the 3-ball, 1 strike pitch. And that's low and in, ball 4. So that loads the bases now, and it's Kyle Guerra's turn. Looks like the middle infield will move back a little bit with the hopes of a double play ball. Billy Horton comes down from the third base coach's box, and this is not going to be Kyle Guerra. This is going to be Braden Blackford who's going to pinch hit. So Blackford to pinch hit here. Now Blackford, with a little injury tweak, if you will, not sure exactly, but been out with an injury the last few games. So Blackford has only been in 1 game this year for the High Wheelers. I realize there were only 4 prior games to this, but he will pinch hit in the bottom of the 7th and a 3-2 lead. And the pitch for the 3-2 lead for the High Wheelers. The pitch hit foul up along first, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Now we'll see if the High Wheelers apply the new rule to the Pioneer League. So Blackford, who is an infielder, he pinch hits here. He started on opening night at third base. The new rule is Blackford can pitch hit, but Kyle Guerra could go back in and play right field next inning. So Guerra not necessarily is out of the game. The 0-1 on the way is inside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. We had the league president, the Pioneer League president, Mike Shapiro, join us here last week, and he explained that the Pioneer League is experimenting with a new rule where if you want to go with a pinch hitter, let's say a big moment of the game, you can use a pinch hitter, and the player for whom he's pinch hitting can go back into the game next inning, the 1-1, and that's low, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, let's say that happens. Blackford then is done for the game. He cannot come back at any point in the game. Now, of course, Blackford could stay in the game. But anyway, it's possible we could see that here. And regardless, big moment here. The kick on the 2-1 from Zach Martinez to Blackford, inside, ball 3, 3-1. So Blackford, on opening night, that Yolo 10-7 win, Blackford is part of that 4-run bottom of the 8th inning, which, of course, was technically played on Wednesday, but had a 2-run double. The kick in the 3-1, and he swings and chops his ball to short. Disla up with it, steps on second for 1, and throws to Villafuerte at first. That is a double play, so 6-3 on the double play. And the High Wheelers, second and third, nobody out, do not score in the 7th. No runs, there were 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We move to the 8th. It remains 3-2. Yolo out in front over Grand Junction on YouTube Live. We go to the 8th inning, 3-2, Yolo out in front over Grand Junction. So indeed, that new rule is being allowed, or well, not allowed, but being applied. So after Braden Blackford pinch hit for Kyle Guerra in the bottom of the 7th, Guerra remains in the game to play right field. So something, of course, I have never seen in my life, but it is a new rule, at least in the Pioneer League, with some experimentation. The new pitcher making his pro debut is Noah Estrella. The right-hander delivers a strike to Michael Bathauer, strike 1-0-1. And the next pitch, fouled plate, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Chris Anglin today for Yolo, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, allowed 1 home run. So 3 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for the High Wheelers, 2-9-1 for the Jackalopes. Bathauer, Shoemaker, and Disla, bottom third of the order, to face Estrella, who's 24 years old, 6'4", 180 pounds. The righty delivers, and a swing and a foul to the backstop. No balls and 2 strikes. Estrella was in the Appalachian League last year, again, in MLB Developmental League, non-professional league, was with Pulaski. No balls and 2 strikes. Estrella deals, and that's in the dirt, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Estrella from Tucson. Fastball, slider, and a changeup. There's his white pants up to his knees. 3-2 Yolo, top of the 8th inning. Bathauer, he's 1 for 3 with a single. And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch, foul to the backstop. And the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Bathauer. And the kick and the pitch, and that's high, ball 2. And the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count from Noah Estrella. So first, as I said, professional outing right now. Played his college baseball at New Mexico State. The 2-2, high chopper to third, charging glove by Banks. He'll throw on the run from the grass to Kaczynski at first. And Bathauer is out. 1 down here in the 8th inning, the top half of the 8th inning. 3-7-0 for Yolo, 2-9-1 for Grand Junction. And now Austin Shoemaker will come up. Estrella mentioned last year his first playing experience out of college was that team in Pulaski and Virginia, but the last 2 seasons was also at New Mexico State with the Aggies. So now it's Shoemaker, and he takes outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Shoemaker waits on the pitch, and he made a motion to pitch and went around. Strike 1-1-1. Actually, the last 2 summers he was in Pulaski. It's more of a summer league now, so even though it's endorsed by Major League Baseball. So Estrella the last 2 summers was at Pulaski, and then could stay and play in college the last 2 years, also New Mexico State. The 1-1 pitch, and that's a high chopper up along first, and that's going to kick foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Estrella, guy that got to pitch 1 game in the 2022 NCAA tournament for New Mexico State. 5 wins over his tenure at New Mexico State. Overall pitched 39 games over the years for the Aggies. Noah Estrella. 1 ball and 2 strikes account. Shoemaker's 1 for 2 in infield hit. He's walked. Now the shade creeps all the way over towards straightaway center from right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch on the way, and that's high for a ball. 2-2. Guerra in right field in the shade. The center fielder Skinner in a little bit of kind of half shade, half sun out in straightaway center. The left fielder Gonzalez is in the sun. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch, and that is high, ball 3. And the count's at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Shoemaker. Of course, anybody who comes up in this inning, at the very least, could tie the game. 3-2. Estrella's payoff. And that is strike three called on the outside corner. And that's the first pro strikeout for Noah Estrella. So 2 out. Nobody on. And now here is Jeff Disla. He is 0 for 3. Disla, the only jackalope who has not reached base. So, again, back-to-back games where 17 of the 18 starting players have reached base safely. But today it's Disla who's yet to join the group as he looks at strike one on the outside corner, 0-1. And Estrella right back. Disla late swing and a miss, strike two. And the count's at no balls and 2 strikes from Noah Estrella to Jeff Disla. 0-2 the count. 3-2 the High Wheelers lead it. Top half of the 8th inning. And Estrella delivers, and Disla takes up and in for a ball. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes from Estrella, who played for his father Eric at Flowing Hills High School in Tucson. Eric, the head coach there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch, Disla swings, and it's one off the glove of the pitcher Estrella, but knocks the ball down, picks it up in front of the mound, and still time to throw to Kaczynski at first. And that gets Disla, and that ends the 8th inning, the top of the 8th. So a perfect inning in Noah Estrella's pro debut. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom half of the 8th. It remains Yolo 3 and Grand Junction 2 here on YouTube Live. We have reached the bottom half of inning number 8 and a 3-2 lead for the Yolo High Wheelers again tomorrow. Back on YouTube Live at about 4:20, right around that time, 4:30 p.m. First pitch. Say about that pitching matchup in just a moment. Top of the yellow order for the 5th time for Braylon Skinner as he faces Zach Martinez, who delivers, and Skinner swings, flies one into center. Fisher dancing back into the shade and straightaway center, and he will be there to make the catch. And that is out number 1 here in the bottom of inning number 8. 3 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for Yolo. 2-9-1 for Grand Junction. And now Braylon Marine will come to the plate. Pitching matchup tomorrow, Frank Reshopo, the right-hander, goes for Grand Junction. Right-hander Brandon McPherson will make his Yolo debut. Now Marine, 2 for 3, couple singles, RBI. And he takes outside ball 1. And the count is at 1 ball and no strikes to Braylon Marine, the 23-year-old who was in the MLB Draft League last year. Mahoning Valley, the 1-0 pitch foul to the plate. That is strike one. And the count is at 1 ball and 1 strike now to Braylon Marine out of Newberry College, Division II school in South Carolina, the all-time stolen base leader there with the Wolves with 100 exactly. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. And the pitch to Marine, and that's tapped out in front of the plate. Off the hill to grab the ball is the pitcher, Martinez. Nice bare hand grab with his right hand, and throw to Villafuerte at first. And Marine is out. 2 out. 8th inning. Bottom half. 3-2 Yolo. And the manager for Grand Junction, Chris Nabashu, on his way to the mound. And we'll see if that's going to be all for Zach Martinez, and it will be. So we will step out. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 8th. Yolo 3 and Grand Junction 2. Back to tell you about the new Jackalope pitcher in a moment on YouTube Live. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning as we welcome you back to YouTube Live in a 3-2 lead for the Yolo High Wheelers over the Grand Junction Jackalopes. Hunter Bryan is the new pitcher for Grand Junction, 6 feet, 205 pounds. He's from the Central Valley of California, from Visalia, 23 years old, has time in the Texas Rangers system. So Mason Minzy stands in. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. 3 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for Yolo. 2-9-1 for Grand Junction. Bryan, our first look at him. Minzy waits and the pitch, and Bryan delivers low ball 1-0. So Zach Martinez, who came in a big spot in the bottom of the 7th inning, inherited 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and did not allow a run. The 1-0 pitch inside 2-0. Martinez worked an inning and 2/3 of hitless and shutout relief, a walk, a strikeout. 2 balls, no strikes to count. 3-2, Yolo. Bottom 8, the kick and the 2-0. And that is high, 3-0. Good job overall today by the Grand Junction bullpen. The prior pitcher, Nathan Gilman, 3+ shutout innings, 5 hits given up, but no runs. 2 walks and a strikeout. The windup in the 3-0. And that's down the middle, strike 1. And the count's now at 3 balls and 1 strike from Hunter Bryan. And one of the few players that has time in organizational baseball. The kick in the 3-1. Swing and a tapper to first base. It's gloved by Villafuerte. And he'll take the ball to the bag for the unassisted out. So the High Wheelers go 1-2-3 here in the 8th inning. 3 unassisted. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Last chance for Grand Junction. We go to the 9th inning. Yolo 3 and Grand Junction 2. Yolo will have a new pitcher when we get back. Last chance for the Grand Junction Jackalopes as we go to the top of the ninth inning, and Connor Langrell on to try and close this one for Yolo. Langrell, 6'4", 230 pounds, from the Tampa area, from Riverview, Florida. And he is 22 years old. So Noah Estrella, in his pro debut, worked one perfect inning with one strikeout. Top of the Grand Junction order for the fifth time as Ladacia Fisher leads it off. So it'll be Fisher, Rios, and Sackett face the right-hander in Langrell, who is pitching back-to-back days. Pitched last night, worked the eighth inning, worked one perfect inning with a strikeout. And that was a big spot for him last night. You know, at the time, it was a 10-8 game, and he kept it a two-run game. And at the bottom of the eighth, the High Wheelers scored 9 runs. So Fisher leads it off, and he takes outside ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Fisher is 1 for 3 with an infield hit. He's also walked the 1-0, and that's down the middle for a strike. 1-1. So the entire home plate area is in the shade. The area between the mound and the home plate area is in the sun. The mound, a little bit of shade and a little bit of sun. So we'll see how well the Fisher can pick up the ball. The 1-1 pitch, and that's outside ball 2. 2-1. Just about the entire outfield is in the shade. All the right, all the center, much of left center. The left fielder Gonzalez standing in a little pocket of sun. The sun field is mostly where the third baseman Banks is standing as Fisher swings on a high, deep fly ball foul down the right field side. So the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes from Connor Langrell, who played his college baseball at Newman University in Wichita, Division II school, and then played a graduate year at Bradley, the Division I school in Peoria, Illinois. The 2-2 pitch, low and in ball 3. Looks like they're going to challenge that. Looks like the High Wheelers are going to challenge that. But it was called strike 3. The call was overturned to strike 3. And Fisher is out. Or are the High Wheelers out of challenges? I think that's the issue here. Because they had lost a challenge earlier, and if you lose a challenge, your first challenge, then you go down to only, instead of having 5 left, you go down to 3 left. And I think Chris Novish, who's going to come out and talk to the umpires and say, wait a minute, I think the High Wheelers were out of challenges. Looks like the third base umpire, crew chief Eric Martinez, is going over some notes. And so now Billy Horton's going to come out and he's going to say something. Well, you get 6 challenges, as many as 6 challenges, but if you lose your first challenge, and I believe the rule goes down to 3 challenges after that. And I know I should do a better job knowing that rule, and I apologize because obviously it's a debate right now. But anyway, I think Eric Martinez, the crew chief, is saying to Billy Horton, well, this is what I have right here. But anyway, well, it's an interesting way to start the ninth inning in a 1-run game. Yolo out in front by a count of 3-2. With the Pioneer League introducing the Strike Zone Challenge this year. And I guess Yolo was out of challenges, so the count goes back to 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Langro delivers, and Fisher goes down for this one and pops it up foul third base side. No balls and the count holding it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now I'm reading this from the league website, so I want to get this right here. Each team can issue up to 3 unsuccessful challenges before forfeiting their ability to challenge a strike zone for the remainder of the game. I'll read the rest of this in a moment. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch. And Fisher swings and misses. Well, no doubt there. That is strike 3. So they get him anyway. Well, that's the first strikeout for Langro. 1 down. 3-2. The High Wheelers out in front, top of the 9th. If a challenge successfully demonstrates an umpire error, the team keeps its challenge, but is limited to a total of 6 challenges throughout the game. So you get 3 unsuccessful challenges, and if you use up those 3, you're out. Now a pop-up by Rios. Shallow center. Out goes the second baseman, Leday. And he reaches up to make the catch. So Rios is out, 2 down. And now Grand Junction is down to its last out for the second baseman, Drew Sack. Again tomorrow, roughly about 4:20 Pacific time. We'll send the link. Well, the link will be up before that, but we'll have the feed of YouTube Live. It'll be tomorrow for the Grand Junction Jackalopes, right-hander Frank Reshopo, and for Yolo, right-hander Brandon McPherson. So now it's Sackett, check swing, tapper, foul up along first, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike, so the High Wheelers trying to make it 2 straight wins over the Jackalopes. Sackett 1 for 2, a single, 2 walks, and a run scored, and he takes low for a ball. And the count's a 1 ball and 1 strike. So last night it was 19-8 Yolo. And took 19 runs to win a game. Today Yolo is hoping that it will only take 3 runs to win the game. Infield all the way around. Outfield medium dip straight away. And Sackett takes inside 2-1. Now, obviously this is a big, big batter. Because if Sackett makes an out, the game is over. If Sackett gets on, then you have Turner, who's got some power, who just homered in this game, waiting on deck, and he'd represent the go-ahead run. The 2-1 here, and that's low and in, ball 3. So now 3 balls and 1 strike to Sackett. Just about the entire field in the shade. The 3-1 pitch hit toward short to his left. Marine gloves it, throws on the run to Kaczynski at first, and the ball game is over, and the Yolo High Wheelers win this one tonight by a score of 3-2. So the High Wheelers do make it 2 straight games against the Grand Junction Jackalopes. So they win this one, as I said, by a score of 3-2, and a save for Langrell, his first with Yolo. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Final score here this afternoon. It was Yolo 3 and Grand Junction 2. I will be back with the final totals in a moment. Final score here this afternoon, it was the Yolo High Wheelers 3 and the Grand Junction Jackalopes 2. Here are the final totals. First for Yolo, who is now 3-2. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 12 left. Grand Junction drops to 1-6. 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, and 10 stranded. The winning pitcher for Yolo was Ben Ferrer. He is 1-1. Connor Langrell his first save, and Jonathan Tyler the loss for Grand Junction. He is 0-1. Time of tonight's 9-inning game, 3 hours and 11 minutes. And again, because no fans were allowed in, the attendance today is non-applicable. So sum up this one. After last night when Yolo scored 19 runs and 21 hits, well, baseball is going to be different every day, and they sent to the mound Dawson Lane, his first ever start in the Pioneer League. Obviously his first ever Yolo start for the Lakeland, Florida product. And you look at his line, he gave up 6 hits, 4 walks, a wild pitch, struck out 3. But most importantly, the only column that really matters, no runs. He was able to dance in and out of trouble, and 8 runners were stranded while he was out there. So Dawson Lane, a no decision this afternoon. Ben Ferrer worked innings 5 and 6, gave up 2 hits and struck out 4 to get the win. Yolo got on the board in the second inning. 4 straight batters reached without a ball even being put in play. First baseman Sam Kaczynski walked. Designated hitter Tanner Smith walked. Left fielder Jose Gonzalez walked. And then Bobby Leday was hit with a pitch to make it 1-0 Yolo. But that's the only run they got in that inning. They could not add to the lead despite the bases loaded and nobody out after a run was in. Then Yolo in the 4th inning added 2 more runs. Leday led off with a walk. Third baseman Kirkland Banks singled to left. That moved Leday to third. Banks then stole second, and then right fielder Kyle Guerra walked. Tyler then looked like he left. The starting pitcher Jonathan Tyler, the righty, then looked like left the game due to injury. The top of the order was up for the 3rd time for Yolo. Center fielder Braylon Skinner came up and delivered a sacrifice fly to make it 2-0 Yolo. That scored Leday, and then moved Banks to third. And right after that, the shortstop in Braylon Marine came through with an RBI infield single toward third. And that made it 3-0 Yolo. And that was all the runs Yolo got in this contest, despite Yolo only once going in order today. They stranded, as I mentioned, 12 runners. So they were very fortunate to, despite having plenty of opportunities to win this game and keep it a low-scoring contest. Grand Junction, the only runs for them, that was in the 7th inning off of Yolo's Chris Anglin. A 1-out walk to second baseman Drew Sackett, and then right after that, the left fielder Matt Turner, his first home run of the year, that was out to left field to make it 3-2. But that was it. Grand Junction, after that home run by Turner, did not have another base runner. The last 8 Jackalopes were set down in order, and Yolo wins it 3-2. After Lane and Ferrer, Chris Anglin, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned. A walk, a strikeout allowed the 1 home run. Noah Estrella, 1 perfect inning in his pro debut. That was the 8th with a strikeout. And Connor Langrell, a perfect 9th, 1 inning and 1 strikeout. And Yolo wins it by a count of 3-2. So that'll do it for today. Our next game will be tomorrow. We'll start the stream at roughly 4:20 Pacific time tomorrow on YouTube Live. I want to thank, of course, Michael Sapel for a great job with our production crew here this afternoon. The pitching matchup tomorrow, right-hander Frank Rashopo, no wins, no losses, 2.25 ERA. He will get the baseball for Grand Junction. It'll be his 2nd appearance and start of the year. And right-hander Brandon McPherson, who was in Billings last year and played for manager Billy Horton, he will get the baseball for the first time this year. A Chicago area product from North Aurora, Illinois, and we look forward to having you join us. The right-hander Cashopo for Grand Junction at no wins and no losses, and the right-hander McPherson for Yolo in his first appearance of the season. 4:20 p.m. Pacific for the YouTube Live feed. Once again, the final score this afternoon, it was the Yolo High Wheelers 3 and the Grand Junction Jackalopes 2. Doug Greenwald saying good afternoon from Davis.